If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Water. It's more than just a word. It's morning routines, backyard memories, and everything in between. At Roseville Environmental Utilities, we're not just managing water, we're protecting it. Smart planning, conservation, innovation. We make every drop count for today and tomorrow. Let's keep the promise together. Find out how you can help at roseville.ca.us/water promise. Roseville Environmental Utilities. Water. It's not just a word, it's our promise.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip, if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Ready for your summer barbecues? We've got you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back in town. Yes, 20 ribeyes for just $40 is back. Happening now this weekend in Folsom at 2 locations. Napa Auto Parts, 9499 Greenback Lane, and American Furniture Galleries, 2785 East Bidwell Street. Enjoy crazy half-price bulk deals on steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer, plus 20 ribeyes for $40 until sold out. 20 ribeyes for $40 huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, filet, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. 20 ribeye steaks for just $40 and fill your freezer bulk deals while supplies last. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Hurry out. This huge truckload meat sale won't last long. Happening right now this weekend only at Napa Auto Parts on Greenback Lane and American Furniture Galleries on East Bidwell Street in Folsom. On Facebook and Instagram at Essential Foods Direct.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are 2 new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Oh, yeah. Street clothes back in the building.
Street clothes.
Sorry to cut you off, big fella, but Kawhi Leonard of Sacktown Sports 1140 decided to show up to work today.
I wasn't wearing street clothes yesterday. I was wearing those shorts they give you for an X-ray.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
At least you didn't have the gown with the opening in the back and everything like that.
Only had to wear the shorts.
I was like,
these are kind of cool. They're big and baggy.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you. Friday, and people are saying, gee, it's hot out here. Well, it's Sacramento. It happens, right?
It ain't June yet, though, big fella.
I know, but
it's not true. It's May. Give me a nice little spring day here.
Spring. It's officially summer because of we had Memorial Day, and it happens. And then it's only 2 days of 100, and it's supposed to slip back down into the 80s. If you don't like it, here's an idea. Not you, but anybody says, oh, it's so hot. You don't like it? Move. It's Sacramento. It gets hot here. Deal with it. Ask Jay. Jay knows.
What's the temp right now? Let me check.
93, something like that.
According to my location, I got 95 right now.
95?
95.
That's nice and warm.
100 today, 102 tomorrow, and then it comes back down.
Yeah.
I see it. Okay.
Yeah. So just a little like pre-summer sampling here. Yeah.
All right. I mean, the thing is, you got the pool in the backyard. I don't got the pool, big fella.
Come on over.
Come
on over.
You hear this, Jay? This guy actually invited us to something. You're going to cancel at the last minute.
Come on over. Time for a pool change.
Well,
Play
I
a little
know
basketball.
I miss the pool. I would love to do that. I heard Thursdays is ice cream night at your house too, and I missed that last night. So maybe we can amend it when I come over. Have ice cream on a Sunday or something like that.
Maybe that's a little irregular, but maybe for you, obviously, we would make the exception. How are you, Jay?
Great. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Good to be back. Hey, the Kings have won the trade again, right? This whole Haliburton thing, it's kind of funny. He had an historic game the last game, of course. Oh, you need a new statistical category for him. You got to call it a Haliburton with what he did. And now it's like, oh, he's terrible again. Isn't it interesting? Game to game, we're just overreacting to everything. Right?
And that's one of the things I thought, watching that game last night and, seeing Tyrese struggle, look at Jay. Oh, okay, Jay, the producer, getting Whitey set up on the computer here. You're an engineer. You need an engineer fee also, big fella.
Put it on the record.
Jay, a man of many hats around here. But no, it's the thing about Tyrese Haliburton and sports in general right now. 2 days ago, me and Jay got him as a top 3 point guard in the league that, and now today people are like, see, Brunson's better. And so it's just the nature of sports and what have you done for me lately. I will say this about Tyrese. The game's greats have struggled before. Like look at some of Jokic's numbers last series when he had 9 points, I think, or 9 shot attempts against OKC.
Haliburton's phenomenal. He's great. There's no question.
And I'm not going to let one game dictate that. And I'll be honest with you. There's nothing that can happen with Tyrese Haliburton from now to the end of time that would make us think the Kings won the trade. Now it's all about the Kings and Sabonis. Tyrese has cemented himself as a multi-time All-Star, an All-NBA performer, Eastern Conference Finals. And it can look worse going forward for Sacramento, but it can't look better, in my opinion. Unless the Kings actually do something, Whitey, with Sabonis, make a deep playoff run.
Sure, but if you put the Kings thing aside, I'm with you. But if you put the Kings thing aside, and I'm also with you on Haliburton. I've always liked Haliburton.
Yeah.
I think he's phenomenal. If they don't win this series, then the narrative, which isn't always accurate, but, guys have reputations, players have reputations. If he doesn't play well in the next couple of games and the Knicks somehow come back and win, doesn't appear likely, but it's certainly possible, then that changes what everybody's saying about him. And maybe he doesn't care, and maybe it's not right. But it's gone from he may be one of the best point guards we've ever seen. They don't win the series. I'm talking about the ESPN narrative is going to be, he can't win the big one. What happened to him when he had a chance? He choked. So it's kind of comical. Really.
Well, and you're 100% right. It's comical, and that's what will happen because we see it happening right now with Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
right. Anthony Edwards was the face of the league, a darling.
Yeah.
Now they lost against OKC, and people are like, man, the way he, his post-game press conference, he came up small and all this. That's what we do out here. We build people up to tear them down. And so I'm not going to play that game when it comes to Tyrese Haliburton. Just because you have a bad game, a bad series, you and I, one of our favorite players of all time, Magic Johnson. Remember they called him Tragic Johnson after the turnovers. What was that?
84. He had a
horrible
series.
The newspapers back page said Tragic Johnson.
He was dribbling out the clock and tie game.
Right.
And they lost in overtime because he thought they were ahead. That actually happened. Yeah.
And so LeBron James, Kobe, all the great players have come up small at some point in time. And so to me, even if the Pacers lose this series, it's a bad look. but it's not an indictment on Haliburton's career or anything. You know, one of the things Giannis said is it's not a failure because you always have a chance until you retire, a chance to redeem yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Magic redeemed himself. LeBron redeemed himself. Kobe, you know, the game's great. Anthony Edwards will have a chance to redeem himself. Tyrese. And so one of the issues I have right now with sports coverage is if you have a bad game, you're trash. If you have a good game or great game, you're great. It's not like that. It's not black and white like that.
Right. That is because of the ESPNification of the NBA.
What was that again?
The ESPNification.
Okay. You sound like Mike
NBA.
Tyson.
Yes.
ESPN.
ESPNification of the NBA. Here's the thing, and it's a great point you made about what Giannis said and Ant. Because remember, Ant just said, you know, oh, does it hurt? He said, I lost my mother and my grandmother when I was 14. This doesn't really hurt. It hurts for Mike Conley. But people wouldn't accept that, right? Stephen A. like, I didn't like what he said. Now you had Mike Greenberg just a couple of days ago talking about Brunson. This was when the Knicks were down. Because, you know, when they're down, everything's terrible. When they're up, they're great. And the other team's terrible. Saying it, and this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody on ESPN say, and that's saying a lot because they are idiots when it comes to the NBA. He said, you heard it, right? The Knicks are an average team. Brunson dragged an average team to the conference
I heard him say that.
You got to be kidding me. I can't take you seriously when you say that. But that's what's happening. It's the ESPNification of the NBA. It's always happened. I think it's gotten worse, and I think that's a big reason.
Does Greeny say something like that because he knows it'll go viral?
I think so.
I don't know if
He's
he
a
really
smart
believes
guy.
that, right?
I
you know,
would be surprised if he does.
I think he wakes up in the morning, which take can get the most out of people, get people riled up the most?
Yep.
The Knicks, they don't have much talent, Brunson. And so, dude, you got Karl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
You got you could argue the Knicks have one of the best starting fives in the entire league. You know, they got defenders, they got shooters, you know, they got stars, they got really good role players. Give me a couple of those no talent hacks they got there in New York, Mike Greenberg. And so that's the ESPNification. They say things just to get a rise out of people. And, you know, coming up in the business, Whitey, one thing I used to always say, I don't say it as much anymore because I you know, at times I'm guilty of that also. I try to say what I believe. I try to argue a point I actually believe. But in today's sports talk landscape, that's hard to do 100% of the time.
Right. It is. But I still think ESPN takes it further than they should.
Yeah.
Far further than they should. I don't know why everyone buys into it. But bottom line is this series, Eastern Conference Finals, it's been a good series that might end up being a great series. Whichever team wins is going to be hailed as, man, what a great victory. This guy, Brunson, could be the greatest player ever, or Haliburton, if his team wins. Whatever team loses, fire Tibbs. This guy, Haliburton's horrible. Choke job by the Pacers. You know, it's going to be one team's great and the other team was an utter disaster.
Right.
And it's just not a very useful way to look at things.
And we saw it last series with OKC and Minnesota.
Yes.
Specifically, we could talk Ant Edwards, but how about Julius Randle?
Mm-hmm.
The series before, Julius Randle was the best thing out there. Like, he was dominant. You know, both teams won the trade, Knicks and Timberwolves. Had a bad series against OKC. Oh, Randall's terrible. That's why you can't win with him and all this. And so we are prisoners of the moment. What have you done for me lately, society? You know, and I always say, you know, people aren't all bad and people aren't all good. Basketball players, Jordan didn't hit every shot he took, every game winner he took. He missed some game winners too, people, you know, in case you didn't know. But this myth about Jordan, and I don't want to turn it into that conversation, but it's like we're holding these athletes to a standard that nobody, Kobe Bryant ain't hit every shot, that nobody can live up to. You got a text there? You got some
just
breaking
Jay
news
giving us some information.
Jay with
Michael
the breaking
Mosquito's coming up out on the hour.
Oh,
The Kings. We'll look at the Kings coaching staff and also why you may have to cross a big name off your Kings wish list. Next year, Drive Guys rolling on a Friday at long last on Sacktown Sports.
It's what you wait for all week. The three-pointers, the rebounds, the thrill of every shot. Win or lose, it's the hope that keeps you coming back. The dream that this time, it might be your year. And so you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when the pressure's on, your support is everything. That's why the NBA store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Trey Songz, live. All the hits, all in one night. Trey Songz. Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley. With special guest, Jeremiah. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com and see the show. Trey Songz, Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
So, Draves, Jay, dear listener, we just found out today some of the names that are actually going to be part of Doug Christie's staff. For some reason, it's decided that now's the time to announce some of these names. What do you think of the staff, Doug Christie's coaching staff?
A veteran staff. That's what I saw. And that's one thing we talked about before these announcements were made. It's, when you have a young, virtually inexperienced at the head job role coach, you want to surround him with some veteran coaches. One guy I would like to also see them at, and it might be too late now, maybe they're fully stocked. Popeye Jones just got let go out there in Denver. And so he would be another good veteran voice I'd love to have. But, it's when you look at it, you could probably argue it's one of the more experienced, seasoned coaching staffs in the league, really.
And there is a little bit of, of course, there is a Scott Perry flavor to some of the hires.
Yeah, a lot of Knicks ties and everything like that. Yeah, exactly. And, Sacramento ties with our boy Bobby Jackson. Shout out to him. He's on the golf course right now, smacking it around out there. But no, it's, the question, and you sort of posed this in our text text thread with me, you, and Jay is,
hey, this was all off the record.
Oh, never mind.
No, I'm just
All
kidding.
right.
Come on, Draper.
No, but the question, let's keep it real, Jay. We don't hide behind anything,
true,
big
but
fella.
I don't tell all your business.
I'm not going to, tell him your response or anything like that. But the topic was brought up. Are these Doug Christie guys, basically? Yeah, or is this more of Scott Perry's hire?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a legitimate question. Yeah. I don't know, to be honest with you. I haven't talked to Doug, about that.
I think it's fair to say we have no reason whatsoever to think that they are not.
Right.
Doug has any issue. There's no reason to think.
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Bobby Jackson. Do we think that's a Scott Perry hire?
You wouldn't think so.
Probably not. Probably
that's a Doug hire.
Yeah,
I can confirm that. How about that?
Oh, Jay going on record with something. Okay, big fella.
You want to put it out there. That Bobby Jackson's a Doug hire. I'm pretty sure of that.
And so maybe what it is a collaborative hire. Maybe Scott's saying, got a list of 20 guys or whatever. And let's not shortchange Doug either. Doug been around the league. He knows these guys too. It's not like these are foreign names to him, guys he's never heard of. He's been a veteran of this league. He's been in the NBA 30 years, whether a coach, broadcaster, player, whatever. And so, but the question is, how much influence did Scott Perry have on these hires?
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people have asked this. I asked it to make sure. We're going to be hearing it for a long time. The Mike Miller is not the Mike Miller that played.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
It's a different guy.
I
It's the
talked
same
to
name.
Doug. Yeah, I talked to Doug about it the other day, and he said, "Yeah, I got Mike Miller," and I'm like, "Whoa!"
Oh,
Mike
you thought so?
I thought so too. And he's like, "Trey, hold up now, not that Mike Miller, but Mike Miller, who's a veteran. I think he's like 60 years old, so he's been around the game, been around the block a little bit.
He's been
Another
assistant
veteran guy,
coach. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, of course, at this point, what really matters is who's on the team. They don't have the luxury of worrying about how good the coaching staff is yet, right?
Right.
It looks like this is a solid staff, but really what's going to matter is who's on the roster, and we'll see. Don't you think that a lot of that is going to depend on what other teams do? There's some talk that this could be the craziest offseason in NBA history. We'll talk to Michael Scotto about that in just a few moments. And I think the Kings they have to be in somewhat of a holding pattern on some of the things they'd like to do.
Yeah, but you know, one thing I think the Kings might be able to take advantage. They could be the third team in a 3-teamer.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe they don't get Giannis, but they get the second tier player out of that, you know, and move off, you know? And so I expect, and we've talked about this, Scott Perry ain't just sitting back on the sidelines. This ain't like double dutch, him waiting for his turn to jump in. He's going to enter the fray, whether it's for Giannis, KD, or whoever, or a lesser player. I bet you he has his eyes already set on some guys and isn't going to wait for all the dominoes to fall, if you will.
One of the names that we've been talking about with some excitement in recent weeks, probably if the Kings are looking on, they probably have to take him on the board. You probably heard the story today. Zion Williamson is being sued. It's a civil suit over some heinous allegations. Don't know what's true and what's not true. But I think if you're from the standpoint of the Kings, obviously, well, if it's true, you don't want to get involved in that. If it's not true, it's probably going to take longer to figure that out than you have to wait on.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't pretend to know. I'm not judging anybody. And it's like I said, it's a civil suit. It's not a criminal case. But I think it probably effectively takes him off the board for the Kings if he was anywhere near it to begin with.
Yeah, because, you know, this isn't, a 30-minute sitcom and it'll have it all wrapped up, you know, in 30 minutes. This is going to go into months, maybe even a year.
Yeah.
And so,
you could get involved.
Right. And we got free agent coming up, draft and everything like that, trades. And so, you know, if you're a team, let's say you're Sacramento and you were interested in Zion, right now I'm like, I got to see how this plays out. I'm not making any moves on this guy until I see how this all plays out. And so to your point, and it could happen at trade deadline. It doesn't have to happen this offseason too.
Yeah.
Could happen in February.
Yeah. And it could still go any which way.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Not making any assumptions, but just at this point, unless you thought, hey, there's an opportunity here, let's take advantage of it. I think that would be reckless. So I don't think we're going to be hearing anything about Zion, at least in terms of the Kings in the short term.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And also, I'll be honest, 2 weeks ago or so, I was high on John Morant. I don't know if we're big game hunting. I'm honestly, I'm not seeing it right now. I'm not feeling it right now.
Interesting.
We had our boy Law Murray on the other day here on the Drive Guys, and we were talking about DeMar DeRozan's trade value out there.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying you probably aren't going to get a good player back, a better player than DeMar back because his value is so low out there.
So do you think it's possible the Kings will look at that and go, we're better off keeping him? Do you think that's even a possibility? Is there any way that could work?
I do think it's a possibility. I do think it might even be a probability.
Interesting.
Whitey. Because here's why. And I talked a little bit about this yesterday. I don't know if the Kings are trying to give up DeMar for pennies on the dollar.
That wouldn't really accomplish anything.
Right. What's that? Right. Exactly. And is there a sense of urgency to move him right now if you want to go that direction?
What about who was Bailey Boddicker or whoever it was? Sent him to Miami for 2 seconds and Scary Terry.
Dude, I'll tell you what. And Scott Perry's my guy. I'm actually having coffee with Scott Perry coming up in a little bit here. But if Scott Perry did that deal, we may have to send him to Miami also with DeMar DeRozan. I mean, and Terry Rozier, I love Terry Rozier. It's my guy from Louisville. I go way back with him. But nah, that's not the deal to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're giving me Jaime Jaquez, you giving me, Khalil Ware maybe or something like that, okay. But that's the problem I think the Kings are going to have going forward, Whitey. We want what teams ain't offering, basically.
Right. If
You know?
it ends up they basically bring the team back, I don't know that they will. But I think a lot of fans would be very upset with that. However, and again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. But it doesn't mean you don't want to get rid of guys just to get rid of guys. You're not really accomplishing anything.
Right.
They got the whole summer, whole off season. There's a very good chance they can do what they want to do. But if they don't, I think they're smart not to just, we got to get rid of these guys.
Right.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That's making a rash decision, you know? And so, you know, one thing we talked about, Monty McNair, is that reptilian patience.
That's right.
You know, and you know, you just wait, right?
Yeah,
you know, and you pounce for the best deal, you know. And here's the thing. Let's say Orlando is interested in DeMar, but they're not coming up on it. You could say, we don't have to, hey, you got to sweeten the pot. And I bet as the season progresses, Orlando gets even more desperate because they know they got a nice little young core. They need somebody to help put them over the hump.
Yeah.
And so I don't think Scott Perry has to rush out there and make a deal.
That reminds me of what Jay was saying last year about this time. He was saying, you know, you don't really have to do anything because you have the deadline as well coming up.
Right.
It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we forgot you could do stuff like that.
Ratchet up the value of players depending on what's going on.
And let me ask you a question, Whitey. You're a basketball aficionado.
Yes.
When did the Celtics acquire Drew Holiday? When was Dame Lillard traded?
It was very, very late. It was
Very
summer.
late.
Yeah.
Like
Early
September
summer.
or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
late,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
It was
Right.
late. And so I want fireworks to happen right now. But just because the first day of free agency, nothing gets done or any, like, things, like we said, trades can still happen into August and September.
It's going to take a while to get this thing where Scott Perry wants it. It's not going to be I made 2 trades. We're good.
Right. And that's what's scary about it, because if we're talking about being a top 4 team in the Western Conference, it's going to take a couple of years probably.
Probably is.
Right. You know, it's not, all right, do this move, add this point guard, and voila, we're there. And so, yeah, it's going to take a little bit, man. It's going to take a little bit.
Jake LaRavia going to be part of it? Would you start Jake LaRavia? No, that's being thrown around.
That's being thrown around. Over who?
Well, Jake LaRavia and Keegan. I mean, you don't know who's going to.
And then what? What you doing with DeMar?
I think that would presume that he's not here.
Okay. Nah, I don't think so. I don't. Unless Keegan is ready to take that jump offensively and be a 20-point per game scorer, I think then you're talking about a limited offense.
Yeah.
Who's a bona fide scorer in that bunch?
Yeah, good question.
Just Zach LaVine. That's it. Domas ain't, he can score, but he's not an elite scorer.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think so.
I think we tend to do that, not only as Kings fans, but all fans do that. Jake LaRavia, who was here, he was pretty good. The team that let him go said we shouldn't have let him go.
Yeah.
Let's make him a starter.
Right.
He'll be great.
right. and Jake's a quality rotation player.
Yes.
You know what Jake is, Whitey? And he's our guy. You know, obviously a huge card collector, so he gets points from us on that. Jake LaRavia is a very good rotation player. If he's in your starting 5, you know, but if he's a 6th, 7th man, 8th man, then you got something. Then you got depth right there. You can go super deep. And so, to me, that's what Jake LaRavia is.
Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype will join us with the latest on potential Kings moves next. Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So we had a huge new business pitch.
Attention, all hands on deck.
When, boom, our only printer was fried.
Up in smoke, like your chances of landing that account.
Well, I just sent the file to Staples. Devin, the print associate, was on it. She had it printed and bound same day.
So, where's the drama?
There wasn't any. Staples made it super easy.
Inconceivable. For the product, services, and experts you need, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Carmichael Dave here. Father's Day, June 15th, and Timber Creek just handed you the perfect gift idea. Now through Father's Day, when you stop by the Pro Shop, it's buy 2 dozen, get 1 free on select Srixon golf balls. Yeah, Z-Star, Q-Star, Soft Feel, all the good stuff. So whether you're shopping for dad, or let's be honest, you are the dad, this is your sign to stock up and get back out there. Best part, you're doing it at Sacramento's top-rated course, Timber Creek and Sierra Pines. Deal ends Father's Day, June 15th. Go get them.
Get ready for a summer of music, comedy, and thrills with the Sacktown Sports Live events calendar. Kick it off with Punk Legends, The Damned at Ace of Spades, May 31st. Then laugh it up with comedian Kathleen Madigan at Hard Rock Live Sacramento, June 7th. Country fans, mark your calendars. Whitey Morgan and the 78s roll into town June 19th, followed by jam-packed June 21st. Tainted Love is at Ace of Spades. Lee Bryce and Walker Hayes are at Ironstone Amphitheater, and Penn and Teller are at Thunder Valley. Then it's 3 days of music and wine at the Country Summer Music Festival, June 27th through the 29th at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. Don't miss the tradition and thrills of the Folsom Pro Rodeo, July 3rd through 5th, followed by country superstar Cody Johnson at Golden One Center, July 18th. August brings legends. Catch Rick Springfield August 1st and Parker McCollum at the Ironstone Amphitheater, June 16th. Grab your tickets now and don't miss a beat, only with Sacktown Sports.
Oh no, it was never too much. All right, sorry, it was never too much.
Bad, man.
Yeah,
How you gonna
bad.
call games?
I knew somebody requested something. I was like, damn, Jay, delivery request. If so, can I get some in next time?
Of course, we got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
A couple of years ago, Hall & Oates, they filled the Golden One.
Did they really?
They did. Yeah.
Damn, they got some hits.
Yeah.
You were in the building?
I was. It
Where
wasn't that
was?
long ago. They would go to like Thunder Valley, and do well.
Yeah.
And then that was a few years ago, but they went to Golden One, and it was packed.
Really? Okay. Hey, that's
Whitey Gleason
great.
VIP money.
I know, right?
This summer, obviously, Kings fans, once again, you know the drill. Checking daily, X to find out what's going on. If you're not following this guy, you should be. You probably are. Senior NBA insider, host of the Hoops Hype podcast, Michael Mosquito with us. Michael, thanks for your time. Can we just start by asking you what you think a DeMar DeRozan market might be like this summer for the Kings?
What's going on, fellas?
Hey.
Happy to be on with you. As far as the fastball right away on DeMar DeRozan, I mean, guy's about to turn 36. proven scorer, but not a floor spacer. And when you're looking at the books, coming up almost $25 million for this upcoming season, about 25.7 the following year. I think it's a contract that in theory could be moved, but as far as whether there's his value, I think it's, mostly kind of neutral. I don't think it's a bad contract, but it's movable. But I don't know how many teams nowadays are clamoring for guys in their late 30s at this point. And when I look at him, I've been impressed with his ability to maintain his scoring prowess. I mean, this is probably one of the more underrated scorers in the NBA. Honestly, I think in the history of the league. I mean, I know he's been a 6-time All-Star, but just a guy that I feel like has been underappreciated a little bit. Scoring is not the problem for him, that's for sure. I just think more people value floor spacing the way today's NBA is, and that's not necessarily his strong suit. He's more of a mid-range guy and a performer in the clutch down the stretch.
Michael, when you look at the Kings roster, because a lot of Kings fans are expecting some sort of moves from Scott Perry, how would you rate their assets, I guess, from players to picks or whatever? A lot of people are talking about DeMar. You just mentioned it's probably a neutral gain there if you're Sacramento. What about some of the other players? Do we have any desirable people out there on the market, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I would say you look at some of your young guys, like Keegan Murray has positive value on the market. A lot of teams like him, his ability to shoot and defend, to play the 3 or the 4 spot on the floor, which makes him versatile and coveted by teams. I would also say Devin Carter was a guy that people liked in the draft. When last season, when you guys were, considering going after Cam Johnson on the Brooklyn Nets, there was a possibility that, Brooklyn would have looked at Devin Carter as a guy to put in that package, but Sacramento didn't want to part with him. So Devin Carter's a guy I look at that has value. Up top, you know what you're getting out of Domantas Sabonis. You know that he's going to be a guy that is under contract for the next few years. He's certainly a fringe all-star. I think if Sacramento had a better record at the time, he had a strong case to make it on his stats alone. Zach LaVine had one of his better bounce-back offensive seasons last year, and Chicago was able to trade him to you guys. But another guy where I don't think on the market because of his contract and the way that the new CBA is structured is going to be heavily valued. There are pieces here to work with for Sacramento, certainly future picks. Everybody always likes to store in their cupboard, so those do have value as well. There are pieces to move here. I think the question is going to be, what kind of direction do they go? Sacramento, in my opinion, is a little bit in the middle at this point.
Michael Scotto with us from the Hoopside podcast, a senior NBA insider. To that point, Michael, do you think it's possible the Kings are going to have to wait and see how some things play out in what could be a crazy offseason before they decide which direction they want to pursue?
I mean, I think going into it, certainly they got to decide on the big three with Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. Are you keeping all those three? Did you feel that Doug Christie in the second half of the season showed you enough where you can make the playoffs? But again, it's like if you're trying to be something better than that, the West is stacked, and it's loaded. We'd be having a different conversation if Sacramento is in the East, but that's not it. So big picture, they added Valanciunas to upgrade in the front court as well, close to the deadline. They got to figure out Jake LaRavia as well, what they're going to do with him looking ahead. There's other pieces there on the outside. I just think I don't really know what is. They've got a lot of like guys that you can make the case, oh, this guy could be the number 2 guy on a good team, or maybe a number 3 on a really high level championship team. But I don't respectfully look at those guys and say that is the star player that's going to carry you to a top 4 seed in that conference. And so they've got to figure out if they're going to consolidate that or maybe take a different approach and go a little bit younger to an extent. DeMar is obviously in a win-now mode. DeMontis is still, but DeMontis is in his prime, and so is Zach.
Right. Michael Scotto joining us. Michael, obviously, a lot of people are saying it's going to be a wild offseason with trades. We know about the usual suspects, the Durants, the Giannis's, those names being thrown out. Give me some other guys that could be on the move. Could a Ja Morant or a Trae Young or somebody like that be on the move this offseason?
I like where your head's at.
Okay.
I think when you're looking beyond the other two, and you asked me about Ja, and I know Memphis Grizzlies executive Zach Kleiman came out and said, well, everybody wishes today had Ja. We're not moving him, da-da-da. All right. We'll see when the draft comes around and you get towards free agency, because, they're going to try to obviously lock up Jaren Jackson Jr. even further with an extension if they can. But the question there is, has that core peaked? And I don't know if the coaching change is really going to move the needle. It certainly didn't look like that at the end of the year. Trae Young, you mentioned. Certainly Trae Young is going to want as close to the max as possible. If you're Atlanta, you have a lot of young pieces there that can help them grow down the line. But Trae certainly is more of while he's in his prime, he obviously wants to win now. To me, I think there are teams that could benefit from getting a guy like Trae Young. There are certain teams out there that struggle offensively that I think he would really help. But again, with the new CBA, are you willing to pay a guy like that, who at times has been a fringe all-star even though his numbers are there because of team success? Are you willing to pay that guy $50 million or so? It's going to take a bunch of your cap, and then is that going to be one of those winning players? So those are the type of things that those teams have to look at. I'm briefly perusing through the league and the rest of the league to see is there another guy that maybe sticks out. I think from a team perspective, they've got a lot of young pieces here, the Houston Rockets. So I don't know which of those young guys would be, but if they're going to make a splash for a big player, whether it's Giannis, Durant, they've got a lot of attractive young pieces who could fit there and be on the move. If you're the Cleveland Cavaliers and you're going into next season over the second apron, it's going to make it tough for them to keep Ty Jerome. It's going to make it tough to keep Sam Merrill. But bigger picture and more towards your question, what do they do with Jared Allen? What do they do with Darius Garland? Does one of them move? Because you've got Donovan Mitchell and you've got Evan Mobley, and those are more so the pillars of that organization, especially now that Mobley got Defensive Player of the Year and his salary increased because of that clause in his contract. So lastly, certainly I would look at the Boston Celtics due to the cap situation. Again, they've got to make moves. And the question then becomes, does a guy like Kristaps Porzingis, who struggled to be healthy at the end of the year but helped them win a championship, can they move him given his contract situation? I think it's possible, given where he is in his contract, towards the end here. And then what do they do after that? Do they, they can get plenty of stuff for Derek White. I'm not saying they want to move him, but they could if they want. Drew Holiday could help a team that's looking to win now. Sam Hauser off the bench shooting-wise can help. But given his salary and the luxury tax implications, I would think that he's a player that could be moved given where he is in the depth chart in the pecking order. So all these things are going to be floating in the air. And you kind of said a lot of people are talking about, well, it has the potential to have a lot of movement. I'm in that same frame of mind. I am fired up and excited. I think it's going to be deal or no deal in the NBA this summer for sure.
Michael Scotto, can you tell us what extent, if any, you think King should be interested or following R.J. Barrett's name this offseason?
Well, R.J. Barrett, I mean, before Toronto acquired Brandon Ingram towards the deadline, I reported that they were talking to New Orleans about moving RJ to New Orleans, but they had an excess of wing players, so it wasn't necessarily a fit. The issue with RJ Barrett and the Toronto Raptors is that when you've got Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram, and you're essentially building around those guys, they don't necessarily stretch the floor. Neither does R.J. Barrett. So you've got to ask yourself, is R.J. Barrett a fit where they have Grady Dick, who they drafted, and he's a shooter? So you kind of want him on the floor with Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram. Does R.J. Barrett fit better as a really good sixth man? Is it worth it to pay him that money? And does he also want to have that role, or does he still view himself as a starter at this point? So when I look around the league, I think for RJ, it's an interesting dynamic. He put up good stats on a team that was in the lottery last year in Toronto. On a championship team or a high caliber playoff team, I'm not sure if I don't think he's getting that same type of role. So I think that's where it's going to be interesting for RJ when you look at his future.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate it. Not just a good follow, but a necessary follow. If you're an NBA fan, Michael Scotto, Hoops Hype. Thanks, Michael. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the game.
I appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend, fellas, and the calm before the storm as we get ready for the draft and free agency.
Yes, sir. All right, Michael. There you go. Yeah. What that all means or could mean for the Kings when we come back. Also, we'll look at the scariest thing for the rest of the NBA about the Oklahoma City Thunder. What lessons the Kings could learn from them next. Sacktown Sports.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Testing. We're live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are two new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
The cards are lining up with Sky River Casino's $130,000 weekly Baccarat tournament. Every Thursday, now through June 26th, is your chance to share in $10,000 in prizes with a guaranteed weekly winner taking home $5,000 in prizes. Feeling lucky? Your first hand is on us. Visit skyriver.com for complete details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 or older.
Ready for your summer barbecues? We've got you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back in town. Yes, 20 ribeyes for just $40 is back. Happening now this weekend in Folsom at 2 locations. Napa Auto Parts, 9499 Greenback Lane, and American Furniture Galleries, 2785 East Bidwell Street. Enjoy crazy half-price bulk deals on steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer, plus 20 ribeyes for $40 until sold out. 20 ribeyes for
$40 huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, filet, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. 20 ribeye steaks for just $40 and fill your freezer bulk deals while supplies last. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Hurry out. This huge truckload meat sale won't last long. Happening right now this weekend only at Napa Auto Parts on Greenback Lane and American Furniture Galleries on East Bidwell Street in Folsom. On Facebook and Instagram at Essential Foods Direct.
Meda Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT and RST after rebates.
Year-end savings on now with $8,000 off new Silverados at MedaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, here's a fun fact. Thanks to Drew on X. That'd be, what is that? That local guy. Thank you, Drew, for reminding us. Paul Jesperson, the Kings' new head of player development, he's the guy that made the half-court shot in March Madness to beat Texas for Northern Iowa.
What year was that? Do we know?
I have to look that up. The name sounded familiar. I was like, Paul Jesperson. Drew posted the video of that shot he made, the miraculous shot. Northern Iowa's beating Texas.
Yeah, I got it right here. Looks like it. Let's see, 2016. 2016, March 18th, 2016.
Mm-hmm. A miraculous shot.
Miraculous.
Mm-hmm. So he's on the Kings coaching
staff.
staff.
He 6'6" guard he was. Started at Virginia, then transferred to Northern Iowa. So kind of a young guy.
Yeah.
Young guy on the staff now.
Let's get him out there.
Right. Let's get hey, he's a shooter apparently, right?
Still send a team to the Summer League,
right,
the California Classic. We'll get him out there.
He must be a shooter still. So, we need three-point shooting. So.
What did you make, if anything, of Michael Scotto's update on what's going on this offseason, how it could affect the Kings? Doesn't seem to think that DeMar DeRozan's going to have a robust market.
Yeah, and, as we talk about trade packages going forward, I think we need to start taking that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like DeMar in, first round going to get his job or something like that. Like, it's going to take a lot, and, the thought was, send him to the Celtics, to get off his salary and, all that. It just doesn't make sense. And so one thing Scotto said, he doesn't see a lot of teams clamoring for the services of DeMar DeRozan.
The good news is that it's the salary. It's not like it's weighing the team down.
Right. It's not bad.
Salary.
Exactly. It's not a
good
horrible
chunk
salary.
of change, but it's not a real albatross.
And, for his production, it's actually pretty solid. It's just the style of play doesn't fit today's game as much. I still think he has some value around the league for teams like Orlando. Why not a Denver, if you will, too, because I felt like they needed some half-court scoring outside of Jokic and Jamal Murray. And so I still think there's some value out there. But the thing about it for Scott Perry, it's like he has to thread the needle with this one. It's not like the world isn't his oyster, if you will. Like, it's not like he could just say, I'm going to go. Whereas if you're Giannis and you're Milwaukee, you got 29 other teams interested. If you're talking about DeMar or some of the Kings, you might only have 2 or 3 teams that could be interested.
Did you guys yesterday talk about or play DeMar's comments?
We were going to, but did not get to it.
We'll do that top of the hour if you're good with that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that. Yeah. Now, as far as what's going on with OKC and how it could impact the Kings, the 2015 Warriors are the youngest title winner since 1980. They had an average team age 26.4 years. Okay, they won a title. Thunder haven't won a title. Thunder are even younger, 24.7.
Yeah.
So if anything, that suggests it would behoove the Kings at some point to get younger.
Yes, and it's crazy because this is the day and age of that in the NBA. I saw a stat. What was it? Michael Jordan's Bulls teams average like 32 years of age. And so before, when a player's prime was 28, I mean, you look at these young guns out here, whether it's Edwards, Tyrese, Brunson, SGA, like it's the young boys that are running the game now. It's not the LeBrons and the veterans, 30-something-year-olds guys anymore. It's 23. Luka at 25 last year.
Especially with the way the CBA is now. And I know Boston was something of an exception to this rule, but it's harder to get good players on your team if they're older players, because if you have older guys and you can afford them, they're not very good. Right? The big stars, if you want to have multiple big stars on your team, you got to get them when they're younger, when they're still affordable. You can fit them all under your cap.
Yeah, and I think this new CBA has really, gotten rid of the aging veterans in terms of now as a team, because of the CBA, you want young, cheaper talent, if you will. You don't want a 33-year-old or a 35-year-old making the vet minimum. You'd rather have a young second-round pick, maybe somebody making $1 million or $2 million a year, whatever it is. And so, yeah, it's a young man's game. It's a young kid's game right now. And I'm trying to think, who's the last? Were the Celtics a veteran team? Well, I would say so. Probably so. Yeah, I would say probably so.
They kind of put that team together like before everything changed.
Right.
Almost got it in
second apron and all the new CBA and everything. And so, no, you're right, man. And I think, one thing the Warriors have tried to do, Denver has tried to do, is have young players, bring them up, make them be key members. But for Denver, the Peyton Watsons maybe didn't pan out. The Zeke Najis didn't pan out like they wanted to.
But not enough.
Not enough of them, because that's what you got to have. You got to have some young players contributing. We're seeing that. Look at OKC, Whitey. How many young guys they got, out there playing. So you're right. We need an infusion of young talent.
This is from Howard Beck. What do you think of this? This was in the Ringer, and it applies to the Kings as they try to figure out how do you put this together going forward. He says, in today's NBA, there's no one way to build a contender. No clear models to follow, no formulas to replicate, no spending sprees or tanking schemes that will guarantee success. It takes a little more thought and perhaps more patience than this league usually allows. There are many paths to the same goal. Pacers found theirs when no one else was looking. That was Howard Beck in a piece about how the.
Did he say patience?
Pacers.
No, the patience in today's game
requires more patience than this league usually allows. Because the quick fix stuff doesn't typically work.
Well, we've seen it here. We've seen it in Phoenix. Them trying to fast track their way.
I know we're talking to Eddie Johnson today.
Yes, Eddie Johnson. Can't wait for that. And so, no, but here's the thing. I've said it. To me, Scott Perry coming here, if I'm him, I'm asking for a 5-year deal. Because I can't get it done in year 1 or 2 or maybe even year 3. It's almost like how it used to be for college basketball and football coaches. You need a full cycle of a recruiting class to really change and make your mark out there. You need 4 years in college. It's kind of like that in the NBA, I think. And to your point, the teams that have stuck with their core, even Minnesota, they made the big trade. But Rudy's been there a few years now. Mike Conley's been there a few years. They didn't blow it up. Cleveland,
Daniels,
they've been, so there is some value in letting it ride out, sticking with it for 2 or 3 or 4 seasons.
They got a lot of tough choices to make.
I got something on a fan favorite of yours, a guy that you think maybe the Kings should target, but he could be off the market.
Really?
Yeah, I got that.
When we come back?
Yes, I'll tell you who it is.
Not Peyton Pritchard.
Nah. But of that ilk, if you will.
We got that. We got DeMar DeRozan sharing his thoughts on the Kings' tumultuous season next. Sacktown Sports.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across our multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get a free quote at ethos.com/win. That's ethos.com/win.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
Catch all the action at Sky River Casino. Enjoy over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room. Plus, with 18 elevated restaurants, bars, and lounge destinations, and Sky River rewards that add up and up. There's something for everyone. Just minutes from Sacramento, right off Highway 99 in Elk Grove. Join in the fun and experience new heights. Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yeah, it's Friday and summer's bearing down on us with 100-degree temps expected today and tomorrow. But we've got a lot to talk about today. NBA playoffs, of course. What's going on with the Kings, which we'll get back to in a second. Also, we got to get to this huge trade between the 49ers and the Eagles. 49. I'm just going to read this, what this says as headline drapes. This was a trade. The 49ers.
No, who's that from?
This is from
what site?
Sayre Bettinger.
No, what site does he write for? Any idea? Don't know. Okay.
NFL Blitz, something like
okay,
that.
All right. Okay.
49ers just made a genius Moneyball type of trade. How about that? It's right there.
All right.
It's right there.
All right. Must be true. Must be true. Can't wait to get into that.
Basically, the Eagles got rid of a guy they didn't want.
Yeah.
I said, we'll take him.
Why not?
He was good.
Salah's familiar with him, so yeah.
This is from our buddy Matt George. Matt George, News 10, and he posted a little poll. Apparently, they had more than he got
scientific,
3,600 votes. And this was before we found out about Zion's issues. They will all cost the Kings at least 3 first-round picks to acquire. Which one of these are you taking as the new star in Sacramento? Zion's on there. Probably can cross him off. You had LaMelo, Trey, Ja, Zion Williamson. LaMelo Ball, 28%. Trey Young, 26%. Zion, 15%. He probably would slide off the board.
Yeah.
Ja, 31% of the vote.
So Ja's tops.
Yes.
I can see that. Trae Young's moving up in my book a little bit, but I can see that. I like Ja. I think, got the swag, he got the little dog in him. A franchise player. That's what we're looking for, right?
Right.
A face of the franchise kind of guy.
The thing that makes me nervous about any of those guys, is you're taking a guy who was supposed to be the face of his franchise somewhere else and it didn't work. And now you're going to try to make it work here. And maybe it can, but it's risky.
Yeah, it's risky. But are we in the business of taking risk right now? Because we're Sacramento, do we have to take some risk? I feel unless we're getting it through the draft, how else are we going to get it?
You have to either you get somebody through the draft, you develop them.
Oh, don't repeat the Monty McNair.
I was going to say, or you find the guy like we've been talking about. You find somebody out there that's like that guy. We've talked about.
Yeah.
He's better than his own team realizes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that was a guy that I had in mind here. It sounds like, but you're saying we got to take him off the board.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't. He wasn't that guy, but he was a guy. Your boy Ty Jerome.
Oh, okay.
Remember you mentioned Ty Jerome?
Yeah.
According to Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report, he thinks the Cavs will re-sign Ty Jerome. He says since the Cavs are already above the second apron, they can only sign free agents to minimum contracts outside of their own players. So Pincus' belief is because Ty Jerome is one of their players, they'd be willing to invest. Jerome is the big question mark in that regard. How high is the budget for one of the six man of the year finalists, particularly after his up and down playoff showing? The projection from Pincus, the Cavs go hard for another year, including keeping Jerome with the raise starting at $14 million. So the mid-level, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Would we be interested in Ty Jerome with the full mid-level at $14 million?
I love Ty Jerome, but he doesn't defend very well at all.
There you go.
I need, if I'm establishing my foundation, I need to have guys that I'm bringing in, especially if I'm bringing in guys that, all right, you're one of our pieces going forward. They have to be able to guard people.
Right.
In my opinion.
And is Ty Jerome a starting point guard in this league? And
he might be, but
him and Keon in your backcourt? Not feeling that? That's kind of undersized a little bit, right?
Well, what is he, 6'5"?
He's
got
6'5"?
a little size, yeah. Might be 6'6".
He might be playing smaller than what I think he is then. According to, I can't go to Basketball Reference, Whitey. I can't do that, big fella, because they skew it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He's got a
ESPN got him at 6'5", so a couple 6'5" guys? Okay.
I think the Kings, the most they could offer him would be what, 15-1?
14-1.
14-1?
Right? Yeah, 14-1. I think it is.
And
I think that's,
So I mean, if you're him, are you going to
bigger role
for that?
Bigger role, maybe? Starter? I'm out on Ty Jerome. Let me put that out there.
Why is that?
I just don't think he moves the needle enough, really.
I
get it. He's, and I don't know if he's a true point guard that we need if we still got Zach and DeMar. Is he the guy to run the show? I don't know. I think there's probably some better options out there.
He's a really good player. I think he's a good player. I think we agree. I'd like better players.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to build something here.
Right. It's and he's a young player still. I will say that about him.
I think I've talked to Jerry Reynolds about him. I think Jerry's fairly high on Ty.
Jerry Reynolds high on Ty?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He's 27. Here's the thing. If you're going to sign somebody to a 4-year contract, preferably I want that person to be young. If you're just going, a 1 or 2 year deal, okay, I can see a Schroeder or something, a stopgap, if you will. But I don't want a 30-year-old for 4 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So to your point, I want to get younger also.
Yep.
With whoever we get.
Yeah. And I'm not sure that idea of, hey, we need a point guard. This guy's available. All right, that's what we need. To me, it's not so much about we need a guy who plays this position or that position. That's kind of the thinking that Vlade got into. We have, we've already got a point guard, so we need a power forward. And here's one.
Right.
And it's at this point, you're just trying to get more good players on your roster and start from there. And if you get some redundancy, that's okay. Then we'll move the guy we don't need for something else. But we're not so good that we can we get a point guard in here, boom, we're on our way. That's one of the shortcuts that I think needs to be avoided.
But here's the thing, Whitey. And I started down this road yesterday. And we're going to hear from DeMar DeRozan coming up in a little bit on what exactly went wrong last season. I'm coming around to the belief that the Kings are not that far off from being relevant in the West. When I say relevant, 6 seed, contend for 5 seed, sort of like the Clippers. I don't think the Kings are that far off from that. And here's why. This team won 40 games last season with a rookie head coach, a coaching staff in turmoil, injuries down the stretch, 5 new players. You trade your best player. You fire your head. 40 wins in the Western Conference. Considering all that, me and Jay talked about it, and I said this yesterday. Doug Christie and a stable coaching staff, to me, gets you 3 to 4 more wins. Now you get Zach, DeMar, a point guard. You got to add somebody. I still think you do need to add somebody. Like, it's not out of the realm to see this team get 5 or 6, maybe even 7 more wins next season if they got 40 in the worst of times.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that could go wrong with the Kings pretty much did, and they still won 40 games. So I'm not of the belief that they're that far off from being a 5 seed, 6 seed, like right there. Not saying top 3 or anything, or a Western Conference contender, but do we need to allow them, because we're just talking about some patience, Howard Beck said, do we need to allow them some time to show us what they can really do? And are we okay with, for the next season or 2, just being a 5 seed or a 6 seed or something like that?
In my opinion, I've seen enough of the core last year.
I didn't see it enough
to feel that that's probably not going to get me very
So
far.
hold on.
Now maybe
The coaching doesn't matter, though?
It doesn't matter as much as the roster. I've got issues with the roster and the fit that the coach, it doesn't matter. I could bring Red Auerbach back in his prime. So it's not about Doug's is or isn't what I need, in my opinion.
But sorry to cut you off, but what I'm saying is it's not even about Doug. When you have assistant coaches not on the same page as the head coach, when your parents are dysfunctional, that impacts the kids. And so how can we ask the kids, a la the players, to perform at their best level when the coaching staff isn't even all in alignment? And so I'm saying what we saw last season might be like their C-plus effort, especially because it was a short time, especially because the adults in the room, mom and dad, the coaching staff, weren't aligned. That's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know if I got a true representation of this roster.
And I'm asking here, this isn't a statement, disguised as a question. Were the coaches not aligned early in the year? I know it didn't go well, but weren't the coaches aligned early in the year? Because the team played really poorly.
They did play poorly, but you also got to understand, mid-season, that was an entirely different new team. That's a different. So if you told me we stuck with that same group and they rolled through 82 games and that's what they came up with, yes. But we didn't have Laravia. We didn't have Levine, Valanciunas. Like, we had an influx of new blood. And I will tell you, the coaching staff weren't all aligned and moving in the same direction. And I feel like the players picked up on that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hold on. I'm sorry. One last point, Whitey. If you don't believe in the head of the snake, the boss, if you will, sports terms, the coach, you're not going to perform at your best. If you don't have faith in what they're doing, how can you're not going to execute? The players are humans. They see that also.
There's a lot of truth to that, I'm sure. I just feel like I need a guy and I don't have a guy. And I feel like if I'm going to double down on, you know what, let's give it another try. Maybe there were, as you say, it had to do with the coaches not being aligned. I feel like those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And I feel like at best, is that a 6 seed in the West? I don't think so. Okay. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. But to me, that would be that would be asking for more of the same of what we've seen the last 2 years.
My point too regarding that is don't rush. It doesn't have to happen now. Maybe it could be. Let's see. I got a 3 to 5 year plan if I'm Scott Perry. Year one, I'm assessing everything. I'm giving these guys a chance. Mid-season, I'm striking a deal for this. And so I don't think running it back to start is the worst thing, because we did win 40 games with all kinds of turmoil and drama going on.
Speaking of the turmoil and the drama, have you heard what DeMar DeRozan has to say about that? We will hear DeMar's thoughts on this tumultuous Kings season next, right here with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
You can't see it, huh?
Yeah.
I got it up right here.
Okay.
All right, I'll start. I was like, damn, why they ain't even giving them any love out there? All right.
Jay's been working feverishly on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got something from the text line for you. How about this?
Yeah, okay.
From the 209, Drapes is right. The turmoil, I had to go that one first. You know that, right? Drapes is right. The turmoil with Mike Brown and his coaching staff and the issues with Aaron Fox wanting out caused absolute turmoil. Then you fire Mike Brown and all of his assistants are not on the same page because of the situation and they leave. And Doug Christie, K-R-S-T-Y, has to try to put all that together. Now he has a GM and an organization and his own coaching staff to recruit and develop the way he wants to do it without no issues, and a team that's on board.
Okay.
From the 209, a couple misspellings there, but
that's all
I
right.
get the point. I get the point.
Might have been driving. Who knows? Yeah.
Autos correct and everything like that. I get it.
Let's see what Greg has to say here. 339-1140, 1-800-920.
Alexa, cut the volume.
Hello, Greg.
Greg,
you're on
what's
the
up?
radio. Careful. What's up?
Hey, gentlemen, Kyle and Whitey.
What's up?
Yeah. I just listened. I couldn't disagree with Kyle more.
Damn.
All
right, go ahead.
I listened to the show. I think Whitey, you were there 2 weeks ago. Dave Carmichael. I mean, first of all, Vivek Ranadive has to get out of, he just own the team. Let the basketball people run the team.
Yes.
So that's number one. Number two is, the three teams left are, they all have tall, athletic front lines. My theory is you need at least three guys out there that are going to play hard defense. I mean, it's good, like Shea, OG. Alexander. He's a two-way player, and when you watch like Oklahoma City and to lesser degree New York and the Pacers, they attack the basket on offense, on defense. They're all over the guys. I know it's the playoffs, but all those teams during the regular season would have moments where they, turn up the volume. The Kings have five offensive assets. Different teams would want each one of those players for different reasons. And I think the Kings should just go out, unload that, just trade that starting five.
You want to tank, Greg? You want to tank? You want to tear the whole thing down?
Yeah, tank. Yeah,
okay.
Tear the whole thing down. Start, Oklahoma built their team through the draft, But I think they've turned basketball into an aerobic sport, man. You gotta be athletic. I want tall, lean players. Obviously you need a couple skill players too, but it's just when you watch them in the playoffs here, even to a lesser degree, I think Minnesota could fit in that category. But to me, Anthony Edwards, he likes to be old school, more trash. He's just not focused 100% of the time. Where you see, Shea, Shea is just all in, man, and the Thunder they've like you guys were talking earlier, they've turned basketball into young man sport.
Got you, Greg.
It's less about basketball skill, although you need some of that.
Shot clock winding.
It's more just be athletic, being that tall, athletic, just putting pressure on both ends of the floor, attacking the basket on offense.
Got you, Greg. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate that. I'm not pro tanking. I understand the logic behind it. I do think there's some middle ground there. But he doesn't agree with you, Kyle. I'm sorry.
We are an open forum here. We, welcome all kinds of opinions and thoughts out here. Everybody doesn't have to agree with what's right. It's okay. When I look at it, though, Whitey, and I hear, who was that, Greg?
That was Greg.
I hear what he's saying. But tearing it down, first of all, you might not even get a lot for the assets that you have. It's like putting your house that's been, rodent infested on the market like, you know what, I'm done with this house. I'm going to sell it. Dog, you ain't getting full market value for it. You're not getting what you're asking for it.
Yeah, tanking's more dangerous than ever now. Just ask the Utah Jazz.
Right. And I don't see a path for them unless one of these picks hit. And that has, to me, if you're Sacramento, you look at your draft assets going forward. You got all your draft picks coming up. You got some swaps going on in a few years, everything like that. If I'm the Kings, I might be buyers going forward. Not saying right now, I'm not saying Zion or somebody like that, but maybe there's an opportunity for a Benedict Mathurin, for a Nembhard or somebody like that, where you can pivot but not actually tear it down and tank.
Here's the number one reason I'm against tanking right now. I know Dave is a big proponent of this, and he's got a lot of people lining up behind him. And I understand that. But the number one reason is, and you just said it, Kyle, if right now I'm determined, like I'm tearing this down and I'm getting rid of everything, I'm just not going to get value back.
Right.
And I can't afford to do that because I don't need to get rid of everybody right now.
You know what, Whitey? I'm sorry. I'm going to simplify it like this, Kings fans. And this may get me in trouble with the higher ups. Scott Perry might not like this. Doug may not like this. And so I got to tread lightly, but I'm going to say it. We don't have the assets to get back 3 to 4 first-round picks. We don't have the assets where teams are going to give you 2 young players and 3 first-round picks for. Our assets aren't that valuable
like
that.
Thunder that's trading. Well, we'll trade Russell Westbrook and Paul
George, Hall of Famers,
right?
All-stars in their primes, mind you. they pivoted off those guys. And when you look at it, I think there's a view around the league about some of our guys not being winning basketball players. That's where we're hurt right there, I think. We talk about DeMar. Everybody's like, well, he doesn't stretch the floor. We talk about Zach. Well, his contract's too big.
Perry mentioned himself
right.
when he was on
right.
about my podcast.
We talk about Domas. There's a belief around the league that you can't win with him as your starting say. So why, like, are teams really banging down our doors to get these guys?
Right. You'd be doing yourself a disservice, and maybe you'd feel better as a fan, like, oh, I'm glad we can start over.
Right.
But it's not a good idea.
That pained me to say that, man, because these are my guys. But it's almost better to sort of do a la Miami Heat when they were able to finally snag Jimmy Butler. They never bottomed out or anything, but when it came time to get a guy, they were able to pivot and make the move. That's where I think we should go. That's the path for us. We all are in agreement. We need a guy.
Yeah.
We need a guy.
One of the reasons the tankers are right. And they are right. It's things, in my opinion, they're dead right, that things have to be reset, retooled at the very least.
Right.
Tear down, I think that's too drastic. But, yeah, I think a reset, a retool is necessary. Whereas I know some people, including yourself, are feeling like, you might be able to get more traction than you did last year with the same core.
Right. And here's the thing,
I'm not seeing that, but I respect it.
Here's the thing, too. And when I say I'm against tanking, now, if somebody's going to give you some offer that you can't refuse, of course, you take it.
I'll give you 6 number ones for Domas.
Right. I'm like, all right, now let me listen to you, And so that's what I think, the Kings, honestly, that's where I think Scott Perry's path is going to be. Strategic moves, some moves here and there. If something happens, he'll strike while it's hot, that kind of thing. But I don't think it'll be a big sell-off.
And to me, that's proof positive that your core isn't what you'd like it to be. The proof is that you can't get much for those guys right now. That's what we think. So to me, that's telling me your team, such as it is currently constituted, is not good enough to get you where you want to get to. If it was, you'd be getting more back for some of the guys you have on your roster.
Right. One thing we've been talking about is distressed assets. We got to buy low. We not, the Giannis's of the world, we can't enter that fray.
And that's okay.
But who's that next guy? Who's the guy that you talked about it earlier? On this squad over here, he's a role player, borderline, number 3 guy. But if you put him here, he has James Harden in OKC years back, goes to Houston and bam, becomes MVP.
When you say Shea was that to a degree?
Shea was that to yes, exactly. It's going to take some shrewd moves from Scott Perry, an eye for talent. That's what our boy out there in OKC has, Sam Presti, getting the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and then the draft picks. Brad Stevens out there in Boston. You got to have an eye for talent, Scott Perry. And, dude, Scott Perry in New York. The Brunson deal and all that. It's like looking at a guy and saying, you know what, in our system here in SAC, he can pop.
Do you know the Thunder got Chet and both Jalen Williams in the same draft? They got all 3 of them in the same draft, 2022. That's a good draft.
That's a hell of a draft. And so going forward too, Whitey, we got to hit on our draft picks. I know we don't have a first round this year, but we got to hit next year. If we got a first round, you got to hit.
Yep.
You can't be wasting these picks, like we've done in recent years.
Yes. As promised, DeMar on the tumultuous season, what it could mean for his Kings future. Oh, not next. We got
my boy Brian Salmons.
Yeah, we got a guest coming up here. Sports director, KSNV3 in Vegas. Brian Salmon is Vegas waiting for the A's with open arms. We'll ask him next. Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, Athletics, and Republic FC with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and centrally located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleyststrong.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Skeeter here. Got a question. What's small and dark with white bands on its legs and bites during the day?
Mosquitoes. Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles, but these are two new types of day-biting mosquitoes. They're invading our area and becoming a big problem.
And they can be dangerous.
But we're on it, so when you see them, report it at fightthebite.net. In the meantime, use insect repellent and drain stagnant water around your yard.
We're here to help with these day-biting mosquitoes.
Visit us at fightthebite.net.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, tough one for the Athletics last night. They got knocked around pretty good north of the border. The A's have what have they lost? 14-15, whatever it is. But of course, the bigger question with the Athletics is: they ever going to go to Vegas? Did they end up staying here? Could they go back to Oakland? We've got a guest who's going to shed some light on that. And you know, when it comes to this whole thing, there's been a lot of disinformation and misinformation out there. So you need somebody you can trust, and you know you can trust our next guest because he's from Vallejo, California. Yes.
By way of Philadelphia, though.
Yeah, Philly. He's from Vallejo. Sports director. Yeah, KSMV3 in Las Vegas, Brian Salmon. How are you, Brian?
And I appreciate that. That's the best intro ever. You got to shout out B-Town.
Hold up,
baby.
Let me see. Let me ask you. On your LinkedIn profile, on your IG profile, is it Vallejo first or Philly first?
It's definitely, honestly, it's always Vallejo first.
Ah, you killing me, man. Absolutely. You're killing me. That's all right.
My folks were born in Philly. Yeah, I was born in Oakland. Yeah, I was born in Oakland. I grew up in Vallejo, but my folks are from Philly.
Okay. All right.
What school did you go to, Brian?
I went to Solano, man, and then I would have went to Vallejo High School, but I finished high school in Seattle.
Yes. Well, we appreciate your time very much. Listen, Vegas fans, you know, we have so much going on here. We're not sure what's up, what's down. can you tell us, are Vegas fans, are they excited about the possibility of the A's coming?
No.
Okay. I love it. I like it.
Okay. Hey, guys, have a nice day. Talk to you later.
See you later.
Well, tell me why not? Like, no vibe down there, no buzz at all?
You know what? Honestly, no. People are cool with the idea of us having another professional franchise, but they don't necessarily want baseball. I think more people in Las Vegas want the NBA to come here. I think Vegas is more of an NBA city. But if you talk to old timers that have been around baseball here in Las Vegas, and they've had a AAA team forever, they'll tell you that Vegas is a baseball time. Bryce Harper is from Las Vegas. Greg Maddux is from Las Vegas. I mean, we have some really good baseball players that come out of Las Vegas. There's a ton of them that are in the league right now. So it somewhat is technically a baseball town, but we don't need baseball here. Our AAA team has one of the best ballparks in the country, regardless of AAA, Major League, whatever, and they sell very, very well. So we don't need a baseball team here, but just it'll look cool to have it on the Strip, and we'll have baseball, football, and hockey in Vegas. Can truly be what we call here the sports entertainment capital of the world.
Hey, Brian, how much do you think, though, that it's because it's the Athletics, because it's a team that's struggling, because it's a team with a controversial owner, that there's not that much interest? Let's say, you know, I'm not saying the Yankees, but let's say the Houston Astros were coming there. Would there be a little more buzz, you think?
Quite honestly, I don't think it has to do with the A's as much as it is Major League Baseball. But with that being said, Vegas definitely likes to support teams that are winners, right? So the Golden Knights, the best thing they ever could have done was win right out of the gate. And unfortunately, October 1 happened when they had the shooter at Mandalay Bay and everything, and that helped them connect to the city. So honestly, Vegas is first a hockey town. Second, it's a Raiders town. And then with baseball being here, people like baseball, but they don't like it like that. And as far as it being the A's do have more of a fan base here than many other teams would have because we're so close to the Bay Area. You know what I mean? So but it's more of a Dodgers town, for real.
It's Brian Salmon, sports director, KSNV 3 in Las Vegas. You mentioned the Golden Knights, and I know that they were an expansion team that was born there, just as you're from Vallejo, but although you say you were born in Oakland, so I apologize. But would people in Las Vegas, would they prefer an expansion team starting from scratch that would be their own rather than a transplanted team?
That's a very good question, because I do think that the team would probably have a little bit more traction if they were Vegas born, and that's the hashtag that the Golden Knights use if you're sending out anything, Vegas born. And they take a lot of pride in that, being Vegas born, right? So I think that they would have a little bit more traction if they were a Vegas born Major League Baseball franchise. But I mean, it's a hard sell. To me, it's a hard sell. I don't know why I say that, because the AAA team that we have, their field is out in Summerlin. They sell out. I mean, they do really, really well.
Wow.
But I think if you have a baseball stadium on the Strip, you're going to get a lot of tourist dollars. I don't know how many local dollars you're going to get, because for the most part, if you live in Vegas, you don't want to drive down to the Strip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, to your question, yes, I think they would do better if they were Vegas born, but they'll do a lot better if they're a team that comes here and they win.
Brian Salmon joining us.
Don't hold your breath.
Right. That ain't happening. We waiting on that out here. B, let me ask you about the proposed stadium site. What's it looking like down there? And, is there any talk that, things are behind schedule, any panic down there among city leaders or anything like that?
Have they broken ground yet?
See, that's the thing, because they have not broken ground yet. Not that I know of. And to me, it's not real until you do break ground. You know what I mean? Like that was the thing about Allegiant Stadium. I remember they broke ground. They had the ceremony. You could drive on the freeway. You could see the progress being made of the Allegiant Stadium. So it seemed real. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. One, I don't necessarily care a whole lot about the baseball team coming here right now because they haven't broken ground, and it's not real to me until you put that first shovel in the dirt and you're actually building a baseball stadium.
Brian, you touched on this. I want to circle back to the fact that Vegas has the Raiders, Golden Knights, and the Aces. The A's say they're going there. The NBA has been talking about expanding to Vegas. Can Vegas support all those teams?
See, that's the thing. Because with you knowing that, you probably don't know that Vegas also has a NASCAR track. Vegas also has a indoor football team. Vegas also has a professional volleyball team. Vegas also has an indoor professional lacrosse team. Like I said, we have a AAA baseball team. You know what I mean? Like, so there's so much going. And then you got all the headliners as far as the entertainers that are on the strip. There's so much going on. Everyone thinks that Vegas is the end-all, be-all for professional franchises to come here. But to your point, to your question, whether or not Vegas is willing to support all of those teams, I don't know. I personally don't think we need the A's coming here, and I don't know how successful they will be. The first couple of years, it'll probably be very successful just because of the tourist dollar, and people want to see that stadium. It's on the strip. It's going to look super cool if they get it built. But whether or not locals will support it, I have a tough. If they're not winning, they're not going to support it. I can say that much. I'm going to the Aces game tonight. The Aces came in here, and they're not Vegas born, right? But 2 years later, they won back-to-back WNBA championships, and the energy inside of Kyle will tell you. I took him to a game. Yeah. I'll tell you, the energy inside of Michelob Ultra Arena is electric.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see.
And I was going to ask you, B, about, the hierarchy out there. You say it's a Golden Knights town. We know why, the connection to the community, making to Stanley Cup final first year. But if the A's did come there, what's the pecking order? And then you got the NBA. We all know is going to be there right after as well. So where do the A's even fit in?
They're way down there. They're way down the line. I struggle with that question kind of back and forth. You know what I mean? Because we do have a lot of teams, and like I was saying, you're just repeating, the pecking order is definitely Golden Knights, the Raiders. But a lot of times you go to a Raider game, it'll be 60% away team, 65% away team. You know what I mean? So the Aces definitely are close up there. I mean, it's a smaller arena, but they're beloved out here. The NBA, you already know, they have the Cup championship out here. So, and they have Summer League. So, I mean, the NBA is making a nice little imprint. I don't think that Vegas needs the A's. We don't need the A's. Whether or not they come here and do well, it's kind of a coin flip. But like I said, the AAA team does very well.
Do you think, B, and do the locals down there think the A's coming there is just a money grab by the owners? Do they get the sense that they're just being used to, somebody wants to come in and capitalize on quote unquote Vegas dollars?
Absolutely, 1,000%. And I think that, you know what I mean? And at the same time, it's smart because, I mean, there's a lot going on here in Vegas, right? So, I mean, we have college football bowl games at the beginning of the year. LSU played against USC, right? Last year, Duke, I want to say, played against Gonzaga, and I think it was the highest attended basketball game in the state of Nevada. Like, we're having big-time college basketball games here at the beginning of the season. But everybody wants to come here and get that Vegas money. So, and then you got no taxes, so athletes want to play here. Facilities are going to be very good. But we know that why people are coming here. They want to capitalize on that Vegas dollar. And I think as a Las Vegan, we're okay with that. I mean, I think we're okay with that.
Brian, one of the questions that I think a lot of A's fans out here has is, will the state has already given some funding, but will the city give some funding? And then my second question behind that is, what is the deadline for the powers that be in Las Vegas? Is there a deadline where they just say, you know what? No, we don't want you at all?
See, that's the thing. That's something I don't necessarily know, because you would think that they have to have some sort of deadline. Like, okay, listen, are we going to get the stadium built, or are we not going to get the stadium built? Because I'm hearing that, don't they want to try to keep the A's in Sacramento or something like that?
Some people do. Some people, yeah, sure.
So I can tell you this much. No one in Las Vegas, I don't think, would be sad if the A's didn't come here. Like, oh, we missed out. I do think that Las Vegas, we don't want to fall into what happened to like Seattle, so to speak, where they had to pay for a football stadium, they had to pay for Safeco at the time, and people were upset. And that's why the Sonics ended up leaving Seattle, because locals didn't want to pay tax dollars and try to fund the stadium. We're not going to have that problem. They're going to have people that will fund stadiums around here. Everyone wants to throw their money at a stadium here in Las Vegas, so they know they're going to make their money back. So as far as us having to fit the bill for a stadium, Las Vegas and people that live surrounding Las Vegas, we're not necessarily worried about that.
Well, Brian, we appreciate your time. And I don't know if you know this. I was just checking online. Mount Vallejo. If you check Mount Vallejo right now, the greatest people from Vallejo, you got her, you got CC Sabathia, you got E40, and you got Brian Salmon. How about that?
Oh, my God.
Let's do it. Hey, Whitey, his head is already big enough. His head, and I will say this, though. The one area Brian got me, I'm better than him at basketball. Obviously, I'm a great broadcaster, but he can dress better than me. That's the one guy in all of sports broadcasting where I tip my cap and say, you know what? He got the thread. So, yeah, you got that, man. I'm going to let you rock with that.
Okay, I appreciate that, Kyle. Can I also have boxing?
All right, boxing too. Yeah, boxing. You can have boxing. You can have boxing as well.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, B.
Appreciate the info.
Hey, anytime you guys want me, man, just let me know.
All right, man. Appreciate you, baby. All right, now.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
Thank you. That's Brian Salmon. We'll discuss what he had to say when we come back to Sacktown Sports.
I remember as if it were yesterday. I reached down to move a nightstand and was astonished at the weight of the piece. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. At that moment, I instantly recognized the difference between Naturewood's quality furniture that will last a lifetime versus lesser quality furniture found elsewhere. Now, I suppose there's a huge difference in what you'd put in your first apartment and what you would live with in the comfort of your own home. Right now, Naturewood Home Furnishings Made in USA sale is a great time to fill your home with solid, superior quality furniture to reflect your own love for life. With brands like Sam Moore, Stanton, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and many more, Naturewood Home Furnishings has tables, chairs, couches, and, yes, nightstands, and more at their Made in USA sale. Find furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop. Groovin', body moving, body groovin', body moving.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
No playoff basketball tonight.
Man, gonna have to get outdoors tonight, huh?
A little
Can't
bit.
be stuck inside tonight.
Mhm.
Get out into the streets a little bit.
Yeah, gonna be a little warm though.
Yes. Yes. You take a dip in your
Warm.
pool. Your pool heated too, isn't it?
It is not. I don't have that on.
That's an endorsement deal right there, big fella. That's that's an endorsement right
Get a lot
there.
of sun. You don't always need it heated.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's true.
yeah. Pool's probably open this weekend. Time for a pool change.
I might go to the local fitness club that I belong to, Lifetime,
You got
and dip out
the laminated pass to Whitey Woods anytime.
Yeah. Probably got algae in the bottom and everything.
No.
You know, when the last time you cleaned that thing? You got the automatic cleaner?
Yes.
The little robot that moves around?
Absolutely.
Okay, just making
Absolutely.
sure.
It does a good job.
In-ground pool or above ground?
In ground.
Oh,
And the guy comes once a week,
Okay. Diving
Does a good
board?
job. No, a diving rock. And if you can jump from the rock and shoot it as you go into the deep end and then make a basket with the basket just outside the pool in the shallow end, it's $5. It has been
Really?
for 30 years.
Regulation size basketball court, 94 feet wide or so?
Well, the pool's, no, it's not a regulation deal. And the basket is what it's like,
All right.
Is
it one of those blue ones?
4
The
feet
blue and
off,
white ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And that's the way it's been since we moved in. So you make that, Kyle, $5.
All right. Just let me know when you're out of town. I'll drop by then, House sit for you out there.
Yeah. And for you, Thursdays usually is ice cream night for you.
Okay.
I'm sure we could.
Yeah. She
we
can
could
hook
figure
your boy
something out.
up. Yeah.
I'm sure we could.
She's a
figure
Drapes
something
fan, right? A
She's
Drapes
big.
gal.
Sure. Absolutely. Is that what
Does
you
she
call it?
listen all the time?
Not all the time, but I think pretty much every day.
Okay. All right.
If that makes
Right.
sense. She's not listening to the whole thing.
Oh, the whole
but I think
thing.
she
All
hears
right.
some.
All right.
Pretty much hears some of every day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was nice of you to say hi to her when we came out there in the
Yeah.
last game of the regular
Yeah.
season.
Does she appreciate shout outs and stuff like that on the air? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You got vanilla at the house?
I think we might actually have
Still
last
some of that Leatherby's vanilla still left over.
I'm trying to be nice, Jay. Yeah, I think we're a little low on vanilla right now. I'll have to double check.
Come on, man. You guys.
It's such a popular flavor. I don't know if we
Yeah,
have it.
you do know vanilla is the base for pretty much everything. Outside of what? Chocolate, but cookies and cream.
Right.
Cookie dough.
Last night we
the
had
base.
chocolate chip cookie dough. It was in a vanilla base. To make it worth eating, you have to put something in there. But we just talked to Drape's buddy Brian Salmon from
one of my best friends in the
KSNV3
world, right there
in Vegas.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting him on. Interesting. We don't know what's going on with the A's. Could they stay here? Could they go back to Oakland? We don't know. But Brian Salmon says people in Vegas, they don't really care.
They're not checking for it, and he said they wouldn't be heartbroken if they didn't even come. They ain't going to Vegas, are they?
I don't know. I was thinking not, but like I said, Casey Pratt was on with Jose on the station a few weeks ago. Casey Pratt, he would love for them not to go there.
Right.
He says he still thinks they're probably going there because of the big money involved. So somebody, whoever it is, whether it's the state government, the casinos, somebody's still really pushing it.
I don't, and we had Brian on. We haven't heard of when they're breaking ground or anything yet, right?
I thought that they'd said we're going to break ground, and then someone said, "Oh, we already have." It's really shaky.
I mean, I was just out there a month ago, and nothing. It didn't look like anything. It's flat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've leveled everything, but there ain't no shovels in the ground. So basically, this season is going to go by without them having really started. How long does it take to build a stadium like that? I don't know. A couple years, probably.
Have you guys heard this? And I saw this on the internet yesterday. There's just kind of speculation that a group involving, I mentioned CC Sabathia and maybe Dusty.
I
that
saw
they might
that.
have interest in.
Is that legit?
I don't know. I'm not saying it is.
Okay.
But it's something people are throwing around that a group, including them, might have interest in bringing a team to Northern California. Right. Doesn't mean
Not sure
here
where.
necessarily.
Right. Exactly.
Don't even have a stadium plan as of yet.
And not even for sale.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, I don't understand, and I understand wanting to go to Vegas if you're John Fisher. But if it really isn't going to happen, just sell. You can make billions, right? Like, where's the valuation at right now, I wonder?
It's 1.8.
The valuation is maybe
A's.
a little on the high side, but
but he'll get the 2 point, he'll get two and some change for sure.
Like if you can't go to Vegas, just sell. Cash out. Especially what I'm afraid of too, Sacramento, is if he does stay on as owner, if Vegas falls through, he pivots to Salt Lake City or something like that.
Well, you don't know. Yeah, he's going to go where the money is.
Where the money is, right.
Baseball, we will definitely remember what Sacramento did. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks.
Right. It's all about the money. So
one of the most interesting points in all this was made by Damon Amendolara, and I know he's been all over the story.
Yes.
And we were talking to him about this, and I've been trying to figure it out. Why is it that every time Fisher has wanted to do something, baseball's like, okay, waive expansion fee. They said, yeah, okay. Why? Every time he wants to do something, go to Vegas and this plan and that plan, and he needs them to do this and that. And baseball say, yeah, we need the vote. Our plans are not really solid, but we need the vote approved. And baseball's like, yes. And Damon Amendolara's theory is that John Fisher was partners with Lou Wolf, who was buddies with the previous commissioner, Bud Selig, and that maybe there was some sort of deal made when Manfred became commissioner, like, okay, but you got to take care of my guy Lou and the ownership group in Oakland / now Vegas. That's the only thing that makes any sense, because otherwise, why in the world is baseball bending over backwards to accommodate a guy who's doing everything in his power to make baseball look bad?
I listened to a clip from DA yesterday, I think it was. I sent it to Jay. And basically what he said is what John Fisher has done to the Athletics could possibly lead to other owners doing the same thing.
Yes.
Tearing it down.
Yes.
Stripping it bare. Then, lose fan support, lose city support. And then when you don't get your new stadium, you say, see, they want to give me a new, and then move.
Yes. That's why I think it's so great that fans across the country, especially last year, they were getting behind. Right. They were supporting Oakland fans, but also they recognize, I think, wait, this could happen to us.
But to your point in the question you asked, Whitey, could Major League Baseball have been behind it from the jump, targeting Vegas?
Maybe.
Might this have been part of the grand scheme of things?
Mm-hmm.
We need a team in Vegas. We're not going to expand. So which franchise can we put there in Las Vegas?
Yeah, but you could have moved the A's or kept them in Oakland, whatever, and then got an expansion team in Vegas and gotten the expansion fee.
Yeah,
that's
why are you giving away?
That's
turning away the money.
Really,
right.
kind of odd. Why they would waive baseball owners waiving an expansion fee and a relocation fee. All right, no expansion fee because you're not expanding. Okay, we're going to move there. Yeah, you don't have to pay a relocation fee either.
Right.
What's going on?
What's in it for the other 31 owners out there?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So
it's something behind the scenes, to your point. Yeah.
As far as Sacramento goes, I don't know, until we have somebody by the end of the year comes up with some kind of stadium plan, then maybe we got something to talk about. And it's possible, but I don't know.
Right. And and like
forget
Brian
the
said,
attendance and all that. It's like that really, I talk about it more than you guys, but it really is not as important.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
Right. It's and like Brian said, until we see a shovel in the ground out there, a ribbon cutting ceremony or whatever it may be, it's hard. It's hard to believe it's going to happen to me.
The interesting thing is remember the land that they're allegedly building on is owned by Bally's. And Bally's is going to build no matter what they're allegedly, unless they sell. We know Bally's has had some issues, but if they're going to continue to build entertainment and allegedly another business strip and a few other things there. So they're going to break ground at that area sooner or later. Are they going to push it towards the area where the A's 9 acres are supposed to be.
It's similar to when they started tearing down the Tropicana, right?
Right.
People said, see that?
Yeah.
They're going to put stadiums. Like, well, they were going to tear that down anyway. That didn't have anything to do necessarily with the
Right.
stadium.
And you know, the reports that I'm reading, May 1st, A's will have shovels in the ground in Vegas next month.
Sure,
say
they will.
They're still aiming for the June groundbreaking. We'll see.
But they were aiming for May.
Right. There you go. There you go.
All right. When we come back, we will finally hear from DeMar DeRozan.
Yes.
Describing the year of turmoil in Sacramento next. Drive guys. Hope you're having a good Friday, Sacktown Sports.
Stay up to date on Sacramento sports. Join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone. Well, I do need a bundle of things. When you bundle, you save. Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter? Save up to $12 on that bundle. What about brake pads and rotors? Bundle those and the brake pads are free. Can't save more than free. You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Well, when the A's broke their losing streak to finish the last homestand, it was a special day for Logan Davidson and Willie MacIver. Each guy got his first major league hit. And for MacIver, who grew up an A's fan, he drove in the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 8th inning and threw out the potential tying run to end the game. A storybook finish to a special afternoon. Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. It's how retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And it's how healthcare offices become data-managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Saturday, June 7th, the Spears Cars Tours West lights up the Stockton 99 Speedway with limited and pro late models, MMI Legends, mini stocks, and NCMA Sprints. Presented to you by Tracy Ford. Gates open at 5, racing at 6. Grab your tickets now at Stockton99.com. Be there.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember,
For the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Coming up, we're going to be talking with one of the original Sacramento Kings. He's your buddy now, right? Eddie Johnson?
Eddie Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Always holler at him during the games. We were down at the Anthony Anderson's celebrity golf tournament this past weekend in Palm Springs. So.
Yeah. Eddie, of course, was on the original Sacramento Kings with Mike Woodson. So we'll talk to Eddie about that and everything going on in the NBA and what could be a busy offseason for the Suns as well when he joins us.
Right.
DeMar DeRozan was just on a podcast called Run Your Race with Theo Pinson.
Theo
right?
Pinson, yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting interview. What did you think of the conversation?
No, I thought it was a good conversation. I thought, and we'll play a clip. Jay, you got that ready there? We'll play a clip here. I thought listening to DeMar talk about his time in Sacramento that first season, I expected a more exasperated tone, if you will. Man, it was crazy. Oh my gosh, it was, but I didn't get that from him. And we'll play the sound here in a second.
Are we sure it's clean, Jay?
Yeah, yes, it's not that.
Yeah, I took the first part out.
You took the first part out there, Jay? Yeah, and so you'll hear it here in a second, but DeMar logically tried to explain what happened last season for the Sacramento Kings.
Here's Theo Pinson asking DeMar DeRozan to share his thoughts on last year's King season.
It was a lot of firsts from the standpoint, like you said, it was just a lot that transpired, a lot went on from, firing coach to trade their franchise player, to, just so much stuff that just transpired, man, that I never would imagine. You know what I mean? That was a first. So just from my experience of me just being a leader of just trying to keep everybody just, kind of locked in for the most part, I try to just be that and be in a moment of trying to figure out how to, get through whatever it is we need to get through, make whatever we need to, do work. So it was a challenge, still a lot, even to this moment, still trying to just process everything that went on, what I mean? Because
if you look back at the team, it's just like y'all got the guys.
Yeah.
And when you make a trade for Zach, you and Zach get back together. So y'all are kind of like seamlessly doing what y'all need to do. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was so new because even getting Zach and knowing like, damn, you walking into a lot of stuff that done transpired too this year. That even in the midst of everybody that's here, we still trying to adjust and figure it out too. It made it tough at times.
Yeah,
trying to establish something with the new guys coming too, because we still trying to figure out and establish what
you still trying to figure it out.
Because
you're new to the team too.
Yeah, so that's what made it even more difficult at times. Where we had moments and spurts where it was great. Then you had moments and spurts where it just was tough. Rightfully so. Looking back on it, because everything changed so much. Whether if it was defensive schemes, offensive schemes, rotations, then we had to deal with injuries. Malik got hurt at the end. So it was just a lot that was going on that was tough to kind of comprehend in a moment, especially without not.
You don't got time.
You don't got time.
You don't got time to really like. It's not like you can get a week off and then you can just practice and get things together.
Yeah, it was just everything was just tough.
Yeah.
It was just tough. So we came out with the year that we came out that nobody wanted, but just us having to find what our identity was going to be. Made it tough on us.
It's funny. One of the things I flashed back on when I heard that is when Theo Pinson was asking him about, hey, you don't have time to take a break and get reacclimated. It reminded me of how we were also excited at the All-Star break Remember?
Yeah.
And a lot of people said, oh, they'll have the break and they can practice.
Right.
It turns out, well, they got together one day and they practiced one day.
Right. It wasn't
That's just
like
the
3
reality
or 4
of it.
days.
Yeah.
But that I go back to what I said where I think the 40 wins wasn't as much of an underachievement as it's being viewed. Listening to DeMar right there, and everything he said is 100% accurate, Whitey. Trying to learn on the fly. He's a new player trying to fit in. Then you fire Mike Brown. Different system. You change systems midway through the season. Assistant coaches are coming and going. And so just like, honestly, under the circumstances, I thought they did a good job, because when you trade De'Aaron Fox, when you fire Mike Brown, the bottom could have really fell out. Remember, they were 13-18 when they fired Mike Brown. 5 games under 500. They finished 2 games under 500. So they had a better record after the fire. Trading De'Aaron Fox, 5 new players. And yet somehow they, during that time, 27-25, I think Doug was, they were playing above 500 ball. That's an accomplishment. I know fans don't want to hear that. I know they think it was the worst season ever. But record-wise versus what actually went on, it could have been a lot worse.
Could have been worse, but both things can be true. Everyone could have done a good job, but I thought there were enough missteps to show that this is probably not the combination you want going forward. Doesn't mean that it's his fault or his fault or his fault or his fault or their fault. But, when you had, the way they played in the play-in and the way they played against Washington, just a couple of examples. To me, those were signs that it's not really fitting. I had a little bit of I had a different reaction to the way DeMar described it than you did. And you're right, he wasn't overly demonstrative. But, man, when he says, I'm still processing some of it, wow. And it's understandable. I think to a degree Kings fans are too, and we just watched. We weren't living it. It wasn't our job. But that's obviously there's a guy that's seen a lot in his NBA career and obviously in his personal life too, but he's never seen anything like what he saw last year.
Yeah, and he talked about that, the most turnover of his entire 16-year NBA career. And, when I look at what the Kings were able to do, March, April, we went into those months, Whitey, saying how difficult of a schedule it was. And it proved to be that. Now, yes, you can't lose against Washington. You can't lose by 30 against Orlando. But you go out there and you beat Cleveland and Detroit on the road. You go out there on March 19th on your home floor and beat Cleveland. De'Aaron Fox back in town, you wipe the floor with them. And so it wasn't all bad. And so when you say you saw enough that it didn't fit, well, did it fit okay against Detroit? Did it fit okay 2 games against Cleveland? Like, you didn't see any sign of life, any spark at all in those games? Is it all negative the last 25, 30 games of the season?
The Kings weren't bad last year. They were middle of the pack. But I think you could take any bad team last year and point to a couple games where it's like, they were great there. So it's true. They had those tremendous wins. They beat Cleveland twice, right?
Yep, twice.
It's true. But to me, and I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, to me, it was pretty clear that despite the best efforts of everyone, Doug Christie did a really good job through all that. That's one reason he got the job. DeMar DeRozan played really well at times. Domantas Sabonis did some really good things. But to me, it clearly didn't add up to what you needed to add up to. The big question here, to me, is this. We have all this talk about trade rumors and speculation and projections. So I know we touched on this earlier, but how about reverse trade talk? Rather than, should the Kings get that guy? Could they get that guy? Could they get that guy? I know I asked you this already once today, but how about doing it the other way? Is there any way, if they can't trade him, could DeMar work if he stays here? A reverse trade conversation. Could it still work, at least short term, if DeMar is still part of it when the season starts?
My opinion, 1,000%. But it's not just run it back with this current roster. Scott Perry talked about it, and we all agree. We need to address the point guard situation. for it to work or a semblance of working, for it to improve, you may need to add a floor general out there. You know, I mentioned a Schroeder or something, whoever it may be, because the Malik experiment didn't work. Keon's not a starting point. You had Zach running some point. That's not his. You basically didn't have a point guard on the roster, Whitey.
Mm-hmm.
So you do, even if it's a Tyus Jones, who I'm not saying he should be the guy. I'm not a Tyus Jones will fix it all, but he's better than what we had this past season. He's a point guard. You know, bring back my boy Davia. He's better than what we had. And so I do think, as we talk this reverse trade, is there a way to sort of make it work? I don't think we're as bad as a 40-win team. You know, and the West was super tough. It was so tough. To win 40 games, given all that in this Western Conference, I thought was decent. Zach and DeMar, get them on the same page. Domas, don't forget, Domas was hurt second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He missed some games too. And so I guess what I'm saying is, yes, there's a way for it to not be as bad as it was this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a way to show some improvement.
Eddie Johnson's going to join us, Suns broadcaster, one of the original Kings. We'll find out what Eddie thinks about his former teammate, Mike Woodson, joining Doug Christie's bench when Eddie joins us next on Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, Athletics, and Republic FC with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
Hey everyone, it's Kyle Draper here. If you're in the market for a new car, let me tell you about my experience with Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. From the moment I walked into their state-of-the-art showroom, I knew I was making the right choice. There was no pressure from the sales staff, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a kid in a candy store. I settled on the all-electric EQS SUV, and let me tell you why. First of all, the comfort. After a long day at work, I actually look forward to being in my car. It has several different massage settings, including my favorite, hot relaxing back. Plus, the seat heating and cooling features are perfect for the hot summer or those chilly mornings. Mercedes-Benz has the reputation of making the finest cars in the world. Now it's your turn to experience what I already know. Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the best car buying experience you'll ever have. They're just a short drive down I-5, or you can shop online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them Drape sent you.
Hey, Sacramento. Join Alan Stiles and Sacktown Sports Saturday from 11 till 1 at Napa Auto Parts on Greenback Lane in Folsom, and fill your freezer with 20 ribeyes for only $40.
Trey Songz, live. All the hits, all in one night. Trey Songz. Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley. With special guest Jeremiah. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com and see the show. Trey Songz, Friday, June 20th, the venue at Thunder Valley.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Are you much of a reader, Drapes?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. You know, summer reading for a lot of people means, you know, thrillers and a lot of fiction. We're going to have we don't have a lot of authors on the show, but we're going to have an author join us here in just a second. Actually, we had Matt Barrett on a few weeks ago talking 49ers. Did you know he wrote a book?
No, I didn't know that.
He wrote a kind of a murder mystery, I think, with his sister.
Really? Yeah. Fiction, huh?
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And our next guest here, I don't believe we've talked to Eddie since, and I know we're going to get him on just a second here, Jay. I don't think we've had him on, Drapes, since he made our top 40 Kings in Sacramento history.
Yeah, it was top 20 he came in, right? And so it should be an honor. You know, I see him at the game, saw him last week at the Cedric Entertainer, Anthony Anderson golf tournament out there in Palm Springs. But yeah, it's we got to talk to him about being top 20.
Yeah, the book is The Sun's Revenge. It's a thriller by Eddie Johnson. Of course, original Sacramento King, 17-year NBA vet, 6th Man of the Year in '89, Suns TV analyst, Sirius XM host. And Eddie, we appreciate your time. We want to officially let you know that about a year ago, we had people voting, media members, fans, luminaries, on the all-time Sacramento Kings in 40 years of Sacramento Kings basketball, and you made the team. You were at number 19. You were named an all-time Sacramento King, Eddie. Even though you weren't here long, you left quite a mark on this city. We appreciate your time today. How are you?
Well, that's definitely nice to hear. It truly is. I enjoyed my time in Sacramento. It was very difficult, to be a part of leaving Kansas City, to be quite honest with you. After being there my first 4 or 5 years. And we didn't know what to expect. When we landed in Sacramento during the course of our season, and we were practicing over there, was it River College?
American River College?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reception that we got, man, is something that I'll never forget. And that has been going on ever since that team has been in Sacramento. So for fans to remember me all the way back then, and have the ability to go vote for me like that, I totally respect that. So that's definitely an honor.
The great Eddie Johnson joining us. EJ, what's up, man? Kyle Draper here. I'm looking at your career accolades: 6th Man of the Year, Greek League Finals MVP. You beat Magic Johnson's Michigan State team when you were with Illinois. But I think your greatest accomplishment is having to put up with Justin Termini on Sirius XM NBA radio, man. I don't know how you do it, my man, but I listen to you guys every day, and you do a hell of a job over there.
Well, I get paid twice a month. So I'm from Chicago, right? My mom taught me never to compromise your paycheck. I saw her get up she's 96 years old. I saw her get up every morning to go work at the post office, get up at 3 a.m. to take care of family of 7. And she didn't complain, not one bit. And she taught me not to compromise the paycheck. So I'll work with anybody. I don't have to like them. I'll just do my job.
That's good stuff. I know exactly what you mean here at the radio station, man. So I know exactly what you mean.
Eddie, we wanted to ask you, obviously, about Woody. How excited should Kings fans be about Mike Woodson joining Doug Christie's staff?
They should be very excited. Obviously, that's like my brother from another mother. We are extremely close. And we didn't like each other initially. He was playing for the University of Indiana. I was playing for Illinois. And we had our run-in, and we never spoke to each other in the few years that we played. And then lo and behold, I'm getting on the bus as a rookie in Kansas City. And I didn't know that we had made a trade. And we made a trade for Woody, sent Sam Lacey at the end of his career to New York. For Mike Woodson. I got on the bus, looked at him, didn't even speak to him.
Your new teammate, huh?
Yeah, I didn't even speak to him. He remembered that, right? And so, but man, so they started him that night against Dr. J. And Dr. J beat him up so bad, Cotton came in and said, Woody, I guess you're not going to be a small forward. So I got my spot back. But no, really, over that year, man, we became so close, man. And we just realized that we were alike in so many ways. And it's really basically over 40 plus years, we have been friends and we've raised our families together. We traveled on vacations together with our families and our kids. Just came off of a vacation with them a couple of weeks ago. I'm so excited that you all have him. I think what he went through at Indiana, his alma mater, was not good, not appreciated to the level that he is. But the NBA is where he should be. And he is going to help Doug Christie immensely. He's going to help that team immensely. Just his knowledge defensively, offensively, but more so just his character and just how he carries himself. how players are going to gravitate to him and appreciate everything that he says. And Doug needs those kind of guys around him if you want to have success. And so I was very excited that he chose to go to Sacramento.
Eddie Johnson joining us. EJ, when you look at, the task ahead for Doug Christie, and you talked about, having certain guys around him, certain staffs, can you speak to a first-year head coach or a young head coach trying to coach today's NBA players? What do you think some of the challenges are in today's game?
So I think Doug knows, just from a player standpoint, you can't lead unless you get to know. You got to get to know who you're trying to lead. And you can't lead from a dominant position, where you're sitting on a throne and they're below you. In today's game especially, that's going to fail. Back in my day, you could get away with it because we weren't making a ton of money. And so we didn't have a lot of times a lot of guarantees. So every day we were on borrowed time. Players today, they're making enough money to go back in the day, buy an organization. Matter of fact, I think the Kings were purchased for $3 million from Kansas City?
Mm-hmm.
Those guys make $3 million in a month. So, you got to approach it another way. And you got to try to reach each individual differently. And you can't really just reach them just as a group. And I think that's part of the challenge of being a coach. No matter if you're a young coach, no matter if you're an older coach, he's got to find a way how to reach these young men and get them to buy in, one, and then get them to really focus on what is their job. In this day, you got a lot of guys want to start another career after they started their basketball career.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just those ways of leadership, because it's a very talented team that you have in Sacramento. So it's not like you don't have the talent. You got two of the best scorers in the league, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. You got one of the best all-around big men in the league, a guy that's a walking triple-double every night. So when you have those three guys, you got a guy in Keegan Murray who, he just needs to just get more aggressive and don't worry about what his teammates think. Shoot that sucker. Let them think about it after. It's just a lot of growth that just has to happen. But, you have the talent to get it done. And so I think with the right coaching, right leadership, you're going to be fine.
That's Eddie Johnson, one of the original Kings, one of the greatest Sacramento Kings in the 40 years of Sacramento Kings basketball. You addressed this in that last answer you gave, Eddie, so I don't mean to be redundant, but as you look at what Scott Perry has in front of him here, the task ahead, do you think some form of retooling or rebuilding is necessary, or is it more a matter, in your opinion, of fine-tuning? And I know we could spend 6 hours talking about this. We don't have that. But what do you think in general? Where do you think Scott Perry goes here as he tries to get this thing back on track?
Yeah, I'll use the team that I work for, the Phoenix Suns, and just creating that analogy. Like, we're in the same boat, right? We have a unbelievable, talented, all-time great in Kevin Durant. And all people are talking about is, will the Suns trade him? Or who are they going to trade him to? And why would they trade him, right? And I always tell people, it's hard to replace somebody that's dropping 27 a night, shooting 52% from the field, shooting 40 from three, shooting high 80s from the line. How do you replace that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, fans, right? They always wanted something new, right? It didn't work. Now let's go get something new. Well, sometimes you got to be patient, right? And just see what you have to work with first. Because a lot of times it could be just some strategy that you haven't implemented. Some he could have been going through something. I think you have to find out how healthy you are internally first before you start wanting to always change. And I think that's probably what Doug Christie and Mike Woodson is going to try to do. Like, let's see if it could work. Let's investigate it. Let's take our time. Let's not be aggressive. Now, what I'm hearing is this offseason could be the most active that we've seen in the NBA in regards to trade and guys signing as free agents somewhere else. And so if that's the case, if it's going to be that aggressive, then maybe your Band-Aid could be a free agent to just bring it all together instead of trying to trade off a very talented player to bring somebody in. So it's just about the patience. I think we live in an impatient world, obviously. But I think when you have the patience, then things start to evolve and you start to see things clearly, right? And so we have Oklahoma City, obviously best team in the league. And let's be honest, they tanked. They tanked a lot. And they finally put a team together, but they were also patient with these young guys in their struggle. Lose the first round last year to Dallas. They could have said, okay, we're going to make some changes. Didn't do anything much. And all of a sudden, they add Hartenstein to their team. They add Caruso. And all of a sudden, now those guys are in the final. So it's just that kind of patience, I think, that every organization needs.
Hey, Eddie, what do you think are some of the intangibles that make up a championship team? You know, because the most talent doesn't always win. What does a championship team have to have that may not show up on the stat sheet?
Again, it goes back. Look, they all have to like each other. So I'll use OKC as an example. We all see how they interact with each other after games. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing that the whole team stays out there on the court when just one player is being interviewed. It's the camaraderie. Because you go into battle, man. You know, like every night, 82 games a night. You know, so over close to 100 games if you're fortunate enough to get to a final. And so if that's the case, you know, you got to hold each other accountable. You got to, you know, it starts with the players, man. They got to want to win. And the only way you want to win is to do the right thing, making sure you're taking care of yourself, making sure that you're working on your craft, making sure that it's team first. And then, obviously, respecting the coaching staff, trying to trust and giving them a chance in what they're trying to instill in you and the system that they're trying to run. Just automatically say, I don't like it. Try to make it work. I mean, trust me, Michael Jordan, he did not like the idea that he had to give the ball up. Well, once he realized that triangle was working, he's like, okay. And that turned into 6 titles. So, I mean, I think it's just that mentality. And then just, again, you got to just trust in your coach. But also be honest and straightforward with them, too. And from a coaching standpoint, you have to be willing to accept that honesty from players because you do make mistakes. You don't have all the answers. And I think it's just that openness, man, that is important from coach to player, more so than it's ever been. Because let's face it, these young guys are sensitive, man. Like these young dudes, man, they sensitive. And they don't talk. They text. So now you got to get into that environment and understand the way they operate. There's a lot of things that you have to learn. And then lastly, you know, the analytic part of the game. Like, for me, analytic people would probably dislike me. They would. And I don't care. Like, you know, it's like, I just think, you know, analytics is overboard. I mean, I'm watching the New York, Indiana Pacers series, and they brag on how, like, up and down Indiana is. I've seen them botch about 10 3-on-1 breaks in the series. Hey, guys, didn't we learn 3-on-1 fast breaks in middle school?
And that's your former squad, right, Eddie? Yeah, you're a former Pacer.
Yeah. It's like, you know, so the analytic mindset, I think, is too robotic. And I think a healthy blend of it is good. And I could see Doug Christie, I could see Mike Woodson being that kind of guy, right? That's what Mark Daigneault is in OKC. That's what Thibodeau is in New York. I think Carlisle is blended to that way. And guess what? These are 3 teams that are still playing in the league, and they're not all in on the 3. You know, so it's just those type of things, man, that, you know, I have a lot of things that irk me, guys, but that's one of them.
Well, we appreciate your time, and I'm sure the G-Man and Jerry Reynolds would want us to say hi, so hi from them Thanks for your time, Eddie. We hope you have a great weekend, and we hope to talk to you again soon. We know you're a very busy guy. We always appreciate your time.
Okay, and again, I like to actually plug my book. It's called The Sun's Revenge.
Yes.
And it's a book that a couple of years ago I decided to sit down and write. And I do it a lot because, a lot of people always tell an athlete to shut up and dribble and think that that's all they can do is play basketball. Well, I just like to show people that I can do other things.
It's a thriller, right?
Novel. It's not
a mystery or a thriller, right?
It's the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not the Phoenix Suns. It's the Suns, S-O-N-S.
S-O-N-S, yeah.
You can get it on Amazon. You can pick it up on Amazon. It's doing extremely well right now. It's a great suspenseful story. It's about a young man that lost his mom at childbirth and his journey to find out what happened. And so it's a beautiful story. I wrote it with a great friend of mine, Gary Ponzo, and we're having a good time talking about it.
Great summer reading. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Eddie, for your time. We'll look for the book.
Right.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Eddie. All right, Ben.
All right.
Thanks,
you,
man.
guys.
Thank you. Analytics people wouldn't like me, and
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. He's 100% right, though. 100%.
Yeah.
People rely too much on the analytics
instead
of the feel of the game.
I will tell you, he seems to be leaning more towards your way of thinking on the Kings.
I
Back
told
with
you, big
more of
fella.
that
I told
next.
you.
Sacktown Sports.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads, great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage, weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans, also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke. Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hello, I'm Frank Cock with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. In a significant turn of events, the U.S. Court of International Trade has ruled that President Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariffs are illegal, stating he exceeded his authority under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act. This decision comes after a tumultuous period in the markets. Following the initial tariff announcements in April, the S&P 500 plummeted over 10% in just 2 days, marking the steepest decline since the 2020 pandemic. However, the S&P 500 has rebounded, turning positive for the year as the administration paused some tariff implementations and engaged in trade talks with China, agreed to deals with the UK, and the EU tariffs have been shelved until July 2nd. Analysts caution that while the court ruling provides temporary relief, the potential for future trade tensions remains. Diversification and staying informed are key as the situation evolves. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Mosaic Wealth, member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
The Hagen Oaks Cutting Edge Putter Fitting Studio offers you more technology, more choices, and more service. Hagen Oaks wants to be your go-to total golf game fitter. With $30,000 worth of state-of-the-art technology ready for your fitting, Hagen Oaks will help you make your best putting stroke while finding the best putter design, shape, hosel, length, and loft for your game. Schedule your fitting at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for more.
An Australian hiker travels to the American West to walk a wilderness trail.
Wasn't afraid to be out on his own.
But Eric Robinson vanished in the high Uinta Mountains.
I remember thinking, Eric, what were you thinking, mate?
I'm Dave Cawley. Join me on my podcast, Uinta Triangle, where I travel the world to answer the question, what happened to Eric Robinson? Follow Uinta Triangle. That's UINTA Triangle on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action.
411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage.
Ooh, what do you?
Oh, shoot.
All the way to Omaha?
Yeah, went to Omaha 2006.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. Louisville
I just
baseball.
missed you.
Oh, you were out there with Texas?
Yeah, man. My freshman year snuck in.
Okay. What year was
Didn't
that?
make it, but yeah, we got smoked.
2005?
02.
02? Oh, yeah, you just missed me. Yep. Great time, though. Great time.
Mm-hmm.
That and Little League World Series. Covered that also. Williamsport.
What?
Yes, big. Come on, man.
Who the hell sent you to Williamsport?
No, we had a team in Louisville.
Oh.
That also went. Yeah. Yep. We had a young squad in Louisville that also went.
Did you hackle the kids?
Nah, but I rolled down the hill. You know, they got the hill in the outfield and everything. I did that. And, no, it was a good time.
That's dope, man. Is that on your resume?
Nah, dude. Jay, when you have so many accolades a la Lou Alcindor, you don't list everything, big fella.
That's like page 4.
Right, that's right. Yeah. You got to, skip through a couple of pages right
That's
there.
that's not on your reel? You didn't put that on your reel?
7 Kentucky Derbies, NASCAR, like you name it, man. Your boy's been there.
What's your top 5?
Obviously, NBA Finals is number 1.
How many? Which one?
I only covered one, 2010 Lakers Celtics. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
As a Lakers fan growing up and hating the Celtics growing up, that's probably the top. Kentucky Derby when Smarty Jones won, 2004 maybe. Parents were in attendance and Smarty Jones's connections from the Philadelphia area. So that was massive.
Like that
for me. All-star games. I mean, you name it, man. You name it.
No, man, you only gave 2. He asked for 5.
No, that's a D-list segment. You got to give me some time. You got to give me some time to figure it all out. But that's up there. LeBron's game against the Celtics when he dropped 45.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Thomas, the little guy, our boy IT, when he dropped 51 or 3 against Miami in the playoffs.
See a superstar?
Why are you doing that? That was... in my eyes, he's always a superstar. How about that? In my eyes, he's a superstar in my eyes.
Sharp.
He might be listening right now. I don't want to get in trouble. He hated that. When even at his height, I was arguing against it. And so I'm through that. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That was one of the highlights of our show, though.
Yeah.
When we were at the Golden One Center, went down there and got IT on the headset.
Watching you.
I know.
Work your way
I was
down.
nervous, bro. I was nervous.
Were you?
Yeah, of course.
For what?
Because I thought...
That's your guy.
I know. But, he's doing this thing. And Jay hyped it up like we had beef and everything.
I made it a little more than what it was.
I know. But, no, that was cool, man.
Yeah. I wish we could have recorded that because it was really interesting. I'm not making fun of you.
Yeah.
Seeing you go down and you're watching and you're trying to
because he's doing his thing and everything.
Of course.
Yeah.
Then going up and it was a really nice interview.
I talked to him and then he came in like 20 minutes he sat with us. It was pretty good.
Let me ask you the reverse. And this may be another D list. What's some of the worst events you've been to? Just overhyped.
That's a good question.
Maybe I shouldn't say worst, but maybe overhyped. Because I'll put Coachella overhyped for me. I think Coachella's super overhyped.
Really? For whatever reason, didn't live up to what it was supposed to be.
I don't know if I have any of those.
There's some.
I mean, I would say Vegas Summer League for this reason.
What?
Oh, hold up, Jay. Let me get it out. The first weekend is great.
True.
But then after it kind of fought. So last year when I went, I stayed there like 7-8 days.
It is dry.
It's like,
you missed everybody.
After and the rookie class wasn't even that good. Alex Sarr and
because normally a thing like that ramps up, but there it kind of ramps down.
Yeah, it ramps down. Exactly. Like the first weekend is the hype weekend. Then everybody go back to their lives and everything. And it just kind of, it was, anytime I go to Vegas, I have a good time. But that event.
Yeah.
I love all my events I've done, fellas, to be honest with you. I can't. Kentucky Derby, like I said, college bowl games, Rose Bowl, they've all been great. I love them all.
Have you done the Triple Crown? Have you been to all three?
No, I have not been to Baltimore,
Pimlico. Okay.
Been to Elmont, New York. I didn't go to Preakness. But I went to Belmont Stakes and obviously Kentucky Derby. Yeah.
Well, we just talked to Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson had a lot to say. If you missed that, you want to check that out on our website, sackdownsports.com. But interestingly, Eddie talked about the need for patience. And it's almost as if he was listening to Kyle Draper earlier. Yes. Eddie's pretty busy. I don't know if he had the chance to do that because he's got his own radio show. But you were saying, hey, you should probably be patient. Maybe be patient with this core. And Eddie said, they've got some talent here. And Eddie sounded like he was on board with your idea of maybe. Are we talking about running it back, Drapes? Is that what we're saying?
We might be
running it back.
We might be talking about running it back. And here's why, Whitey and Jay. There's nothing wrong for a young franchise in terms of winning, a franchise that hasn't had, a lot of success in the last 2 decades, of just being solid. We got to take baby steps. We trying to go from team dysfunction to championship overnight. But we clearly weren't able to handle success a couple of years ago with the 48 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So why not, 45 wins for a couple of seasons, 46 wins, make the playoffs a couple of seasons, couple of first round, couple of seasoning from an organizational standpoint. And as time goes on, maybe you make some trades. Maybe you add somebody in the draft. Maybe you do something. Like Kings fans, it's not a microwave society we got right now. Like you can't just put it in the microwave oven, hit 30 seconds and come out a championship contender.
The argument to that is, all right, fine. But if you're not looking at winning now, which we agree, you're not going to be a champion next year, then don't you need to get younger and start over and retool it and rebuild, bringing back the same team that got you 40 wins, and okay, maybe you get 44. What are you really accomplishing? The argument to that is if you're trying to be pretty good every year, you can never be excellent.
I think organizational culture is very important. If we had a strong organizational culture, 20 years of making the great trades, making, the right draft picks, but just some 3-4 years of stability, I think changes the free agent narrative too for Sacramento, and that's one of the things that we, I think took a step back from. When we won 48 wins, 48 games, you go around the league, we were the talk of the league. People respected us.
Absolutely true.
Now we've taken a step back. Look at what the Indiana Pacers have done. Sham saying they're a destination market now. That's because now they got a couple of years of success. And so if you have 2 years, now if you're a free agent, like, okay, I see that. If I go to Sacramento, I might be the missing piece to get them from 45 to 50 wins or something like that. If we so-called get younger, we're hoping our young guys turn into stars, which isn't a guarantee.
Of course.
And we're taking a step back wins-wise. We become the Portland Trailblazers of the world. And I don't know if Portland's path to the playoffs is clear and smooth. And so I get it. With this core, you're probably not going to win a championship. Clippers ain't winning the championship with their core, but they're in it every year. Like, I think for a team and an organization but they may not be better going forward.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
They may have
hit this ceiling. I don't think we've hit our ceiling with this group, is partly what I'm saying as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see you on the text line 916, 16 years, Draper. Come on, we're tired of this blank. I get it. Fans are tired. But tearing it down ain't going to magically make you a contender. It's going to get darker and worse before it gets better. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, well, the tricky thing is, I know I read a quote from Howard Beck today. Right now, more than ever, there's no way, definitely, where this is the path, because teams are doing it different ways now. You look at the 4 teams remaining, and they follow different paths. And the way the lottery is weighted now, it's not necessarily – well, the odds are not what they were. That, we'll be terrible for a few years. We'll get some draft picks.
Right.
Yeah, as we said earlier, look at Utah. So it's harder than ever to figure out your path forward. I'm not a big fan of stay on the same path you were on last year, but I do understand you don't want to just get rid of guys to get rid of guys.
Mm-hmm.
Then all you get is you're just not very good.
Right. And I don't think I'm in agreement with staying just to stay. You need to add some things because, and I'm talking about maximizing what you have. If you just run it back, maybe you win 42 games, something like that. But you do need a point guard. You do need, some more wing depth. You do need another power forward. What's happening with Trey Lyles? We don't know. So you need some big man depth at the 4 spot as well. Not saying just roll it back like we did after the 48-win season. Add a couple of pieces, a couple of quality pieces, rotational pieces, if you will.
And you have to figure out how you're going to get your guy. And that's one thing I know we all agree on. They don't have the guy yet. And you can't really think about being a contender. I know this isn't what the team's been talking about. Scott Perry, not one time since he's been here has he said, we're building a champion.
Yeah.
That's the goal, but he hasn't said that in all fairness. But you can't even think about that until you get a guy. So how are you going to get that guy? There's different ways to get him. But until you do, it's hard to take the Kings seriously as a legitimate contender. They thought maybe De'Aaron Fox could have been the guy. And doesn't matter if he could have been or not. He's not here anymore. So now what? That's what they have to figure out. I'm not expecting them to have the answer in a month, but that's what they have to figure out.
Let me ask you this. Does Houston have a guy?
They may not.
But they got a bunch of good guys.
Şengün might be a guy. They got some players.
You could argue Sabonis could be a guy then. Right? Like Şengün, Sabonis.
Would you honestly argue that?
I would argue Şengün and Sabonis are pretty much the same now. So I don't think Şengün's a guy. I don't think they have a guy. I think they have a good culture, a good organization, a good head coach, and a lot of really good players. Why can't we do that? They don't have a guy, in my opinion.
So they have to decide. You're right. They have to decide. Are we going to see if Şengün or Jalen Green becomes that guy? Or are we going to go out and get that guy, which they may do this year? They may not. But they have to figure out how they're going to get that guy. Because Houston's going to do it doesn't mean the Kings are as good as Houston.
I disagree, though, that they have to get a guy. Because to Eddie Johnson's point, Houston, this is new to them. 52-30, second seed in the West. Why not another year of seasoning and they become better? You know what I mean? Why not?
Well, then maybe one of those guys. Can we agree? I thought we agreed on this because we've talked about it. If you're going to win a championship, you got to have a guy. We've talked
ideally,
about that.
yes, but if you're making it to the final, I think Houston's good enough in the next couple of years to probably compete in the West and make it to the NBA Finals. I really do. I like what they're building. Thompson. I like Jabari. I like
Thompson
them.
might be a guy.
I don't know, man. I'm just looking at.
Or they may go out and get Durant to try to.
Right, and then that changes everything.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a team like Houston. To me, they're showing that they're approaching it differently. Like, there are 5 guys. You know, they got a number of guys on any given night. Fred VanVleet at times can be the guy that night. Şengün at times on that night can be the guy. And so I'm not talking about you're the best team in the league or you're definitely winning the championship, but Houston is relevant now without having a guy. Can we be relevant without having a guy going forward?
Relevant? Yeah, but don't you want to be a champion at some point?
Yeah. And the question is, can Houston be a champion without? I think they have a championship level roster. I really do. I think their youth and inexperience hurt them, but I think with another year of seasoning, maybe even 2, I think they can contend. That's just me. That's my opinion. But if you're Houston, you won 52 games, 52-30. How much are you going to mess with your chemistry and DNA right now by bringing in Kevin Durant? Maybe they choose that. It might not work. I don't know. I get it. But what about, like Eddie said, patience, letting it grow organically instead of saying, let me go to the grocery store and get this.
Yeah, I'm not saying they need to get Durant, but I am saying they need to develop or somehow get a guy. And being patient, I understand that. Let's let it percolate a year or 2, and maybe Şengün gets even better. Maybe Jalen Green gets even better. Maybe, but you're not going to win a championship without a guy.
But and where was Şengün drafted? 16th overall.
Yeah.
16th overall.
Uh-huh.
That's you can still run it back, add, tweak, and get a guy in a draft next year. Like, guys grow organically. Guys doesn't have to be a top 5
You're talking about the Kings?
Yeah, Kings.
So you can get your guy through the draft.
You can.
You could
yes. Get your guy through trade.
Uh-huh.
You could at some point get your guy through free agency.
Sure, but
I don't think it needs to happen right now, is what I'm saying.
I don't think it's realistic to think it would happen right now.
Exactly.
I think you guys are both saying the same thing, though.
Yeah,
I think what the only thing that you guys are deciphering on is the process to get the guy and or being patient. Like, Drapes, you're saying just be patient. Just be patient. If you want to run this team back and wait another year and hopefully Keegan steps through the door, then he does. You want to wait 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Sure. I think that's what you're saying with Houston is, I'll say this. I think we all agree that someone on Houston better develop to be a superstar. Can we agree on that?
I agree. Or either that or they have to get him, bring him in.
But I'm just saying the way constructed now, without working, they're going to work around the fringes. But if you believe Şengün, Jabari, Thompson, Jalen, whoever there, someone's going to have to develop into being a star that can go blow for blow with other stars. Now, if you believe that, then you're just being patient. That's what Eddie Johnson is saying. But I do think there comes a time, which I think you guys agree with the Clippers, there comes a time where patience has to stop.
Yeah, you hit
your ceiling.
Yeah.
And so I think you're both saying the same thing. It's just all about how long in the process to get where you guys where you guys both want to be.
I think so. But it is going to be difficult, if not impossible, to settle things like that before the next season starts. I mean, maybe you get super lucky and he falls in your lap, but
100%, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be very difficult.
That's why, Drapes, you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
It may just be better to run it back and be patient and wait for those opportunities compared to force those opportunities, which is what you're saying with Houston is don't force a Kevin Durant on this team where you may be able to sit still for 2 or 3 years. Now, you might not accomplish what you want, but maybe 3 years down the road.
That's what I would do.
I want to continue this after the timeout, Whitey. I got a point to make. I know we're kind of up against it.
Yeah, we'll come right back with more on that also. Tell you why I'm starting to get excited about this Knicks comeback thing. Next, Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs deals that can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Summer's almost here, and so are popsicles, pool days, and a lot of smiling. Make sure your kiddo's smile is ready with a visit to Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics. Our expert team makes dental visits easy and fun with sensory-friendly hours for kids who need a calmer environment. We can also accommodate same-day treatments, and to save you time, if your child needs multiple treatments, we can often do them all at once. Appointments fill up fast, so don't wait. Beat the summer rush and schedule online at kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com, where healthy, happy smiles begin.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Ready for your summer barbecues? We've got you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back in town. Yes, 20 ribeyes for just $40 is back. Happening now this weekend in Folsom at 2 locations. Napa Auto Parts, 9499 Greenback Lane, and American Furniture Galleries, 2785 East Bidwell Street. Enjoy crazy half-price bulk deals on steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer, plus 20 ribeyes for $40 until sold out. 20 ribeyes for $40 huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, filet, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. 20 ribeye steaks for just $40 and fill your freezer bulk deals while supplies last. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Hurry out. This huge truckload meat sale won't last long. Happening right now this weekend only at Napa Auto Parts on Greenback Lane and American Furniture Galleries on East Bidwell Street in Folsom. On Facebook and Instagram at Essential Foods Direct.
Get ready for a summer of music, comedy, and thrills with the Sacktown Sports Live events calendar. Kick it off with punk legends The Damned at Ace of Spades May 31st. Then laugh it up with comedian Kathleen Madigan at Hard Rock Live Sacramento June 7th. Country fans, mark your calendars. Whitey Morgan and the 78s roll into town June 19th, followed by jam-packed June 21st. Tainted Love is at Ace of Spades. Lee Bryce and Walker Hayes are at Ironstone Amphitheater, and Penn and Teller are at Thunder Valley. Then it's 3 days of music and wine at the Country Summer Music Festival, June 27th through the 29th at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds. Don't miss the tradition and thrills of the Folsom Pro Rodeo July 3rd through 5th, followed by country superstar Cody Johnson at Golden One Center July 18th. August brings legends. Catch Rick Springfield August 1st and Parker McCollum at the Ironstone Amphitheater June 16th. Grab your tickets now and don't miss a beat. Only with Sacktown Sports.
The Memorial Day Race to Savings is on. Get the best deals of the season at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the Memorial Day Race to Savings, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Now that you're gone.
Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Now that you're gone, I'm back. We're back. Drive Guys. Having fun on a Friday. It's supposed to be a little toasty. You got any plans, Drapes, at all to deal with the heat, or you just staring down the barrel of that heat and say, nah, I'm playing golf, or I'm going out. I don't care how hot it's
I'll
going to be.
probably go play golf Sunday morning, but my young daughter, Quinn, is sick. So she's under the weather, so I'm going to just be laying
summer
low.
cold?
Yeah, it's cold or flu or something like that. So I'm going to just be hanging with her tonight and tomorrow probably, keeping it low-key.
Well, I was going to ask you where you're going to play, but you're too big of a celebrity to
Why,
tell
you got
people where-
something?
No. I was just curious where you're going to play.
I don't know. I can check it out. I'm about to look up on Golf Now. I go and see what's out there. Unless somebody want to invite me to Granite Bay, Serrano, Northridge, Del Paso, some of the private ones,
Antelope Greens.
Antelope. That's a nice little course, though.
It is fun.
Yeah, it's a little tester with your short
Why
eyes.
you disrespecting antelope like that?
I said it's a nice little course,
Hey,
man.
he hesitated.
I tell you what,
Hagen Oaks Blue.
right? Don't go Antelope Greens on a weekend.
Oh,
you been out there, Whitey, on the week? Oh, it takes forever. Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Oh,
it's so popular.
Gosh, yeah, it's so popular, and because it's kind of a shorter course, you got a lot of beginners out there,
right,
trying to learn, and it's brutal, brutal.
That's pretty much the case at a lot of places, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you go on a weekend, you're asking for delays.
But hold up now. There's golf etiquette. If you're a beginner or you're with a young kid, you golf in the afternoon. You don't hold up the 9 o'clock tee times, the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
That's the only time you can play.
Man, hey, you better take little Johnny to the putt somewhere or something. Go to Sunsplash and play mini golf. Don't be, dude. Pace of play is more important.
Right off the freeway when you go up to Roseville, right off
on
the
80
freeway.
over there. Yeah, on the left over there.
I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, I know what
Talking about Scandia?
No. This is
That's
a real
on the right.
golf course, but it's really small.
Oh, that's Cam Champ's course.
Cam Champ got his own course?
Never
Yeah, his
actually
dad.
played
Oh,
there.
okay.
And I can't believe it. Foothill Farms?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
That looks like a lot of fun.
I've done that. I've done that as well. Nice little short course. You just bring your wedges, and putter and everything. Yeah, that's
a lot of options. Great golf town. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the conversation. I didn't expect to be talking about this today. The pros and cons of running it back.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And Eddie Johnson was on with us, the great Eddie Johnson, and he spoke of the need for patience. He didn't talk about, the Kings need to retool. He said, you got players there. Drapes has been saying, it might be a good idea to be more patient with the core. And so that's what we were discussing. And we talked about the need for you, no matter who you are or where you are in your competitive arc, you got to find the guy.
Right.
But you said you had a point you needed to make.
Yeah, a couple of points. I want to first go to the text line 530. He said, Drapes is saying all 5 Houston starters will get better and be good enough without any particular player becoming a guy. That's partly what I'm saying. But when I look at developing a guy and finding the guy, one of the things I don't want us to do, and I feel like maybe we did that with bringing in DeMar, is we're stunting the growth of somebody that could have been the guy, maybe Keegan Murray. I don't know what Keegan Murray could be. Keegan Murray could develop into a 20-point per game scorer and be one of the guys. And so I'll also say this. Your guy, when it comes time to win, doesn't always have to be the best player. I look at Boston. Who's the guy? Tatum is the guy, but they're so good. Others are so good that Tatum doesn't have to be the guy. Can we get to a point, maybe if we don't have the guy, maybe we got 3, 4, 5 really high level? Because here's the thing too, Whitey, and I understand people say you need a guy to win.
I thought you said that.
No, I'm talking about to compete. If I'm the Kings, yes, you want to win a championship. But even if you have a guy, doesn't guarantee you. Is LeBron a guy? Is Luka a guy? Is Jokic a guy this year? Is Kawhi a guy? Is Anthony Edwards a guy? Is Steph Curry a guy? None of them won a title this year. And so my point is, we need to be relevant. We need to be good and let the guy develop organically, whether within the system or maybe you make a trade. I'm not going out there right now selling off assets, chasing a guy a la what Phoenix did last year, a couple years ago.
I don't know who's saying that. Maybe somebody on the text line, but I just want to clarify. We agree that to be a contender, you have to find your main guy, right?
No.
At some point.
Because Houston is a contender right now.
No, I mean, to win a championship.
That's different than a contender.
I'm talking about a team that can win a championship. The team to win a championship, you have to have a guy. I thought we all agreed on that, and if we don't, okay.
I might be taking a step back, because what I'm saying is maybe the guy develops organically. Maybe
he's still a guy,
but you got to let it develop. Can Zach LaVine on the biggest of stages be a guy?
No. No. Come on, Drace. We got to be for real here. Dude, Houston got smoked in the first round. They weren't even close.
Dog, but they're built. But this is what I'm saying. So what? They need to tear it down. They need to go out there and
that's not what I'm saying.
Look for a guy.
Not saying that.
It sounds like, Drapes, sounds to me like you're saying you need a guy, but it's okay if you don't have one yet.
Yes,
just take your time. Be patient.
Finding your guy.
That's
all I'm saying.
Reasonable.
That's 100% what I'm saying.
At some point, you
that's
just don't have to have
That's 100% what I'm.
Okay.
And to my point, also, who knows? As you go drafting, your guy doesn't automatically show itself the first year. It may take 2 or 3. Shea wasn't the guy with the Clippers. It took Shea a few years to become
arguing at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so whether it's Keegan, whether it's Zach, whether it's a draft pick, whether it's by way of a free agent, a distressed asset,
right.
Jay, a Ben Mathurin or an Ivy or somebody. It doesn't have to happen right now, overnight through the draft.
True.
For the Kings. For the Kings, I'm saying.
Like Zach I think we know he's not that.
Yeah, he's not.
But could he be a really good number 2?
Well, maybe.
Sure.
Okay.
But I think,
I think it's also steps to it, Jay.
Agreed.
It's not get a guy and all of a sudden you're a champion.
No,
there's levels to it.
I'm not saying that.
Right. I'm just making that point. There's levels. As somebody on the text line said real quick right here, Jay, they said, Whitey from the 916, Whitey, you have to be relevant before you can be a contender. That's what this person
I agree
says.
with that.
Yeah.
I think, Whitey, you agree with that, right?
Yes. I'm just saying whatever you're doing, you have to be mindful that you have to get your guy at some point. I'm not saying if you don't have your guy right now, you're done.
Because I think a lot of people are saying if you don't have your guy right now, tank to get your guy. And I know you're against
right, but I understand that does make sense. I wouldn't do that, but I see why people say that. You know, because in the end, it's like, how are you going to get your guy? You're going to tank. I wouldn't do that, but it is a way.
The question I have, and let's just use Zach as an example, Drapes, Whitey, is Zach isn't long in the tooth, but he's also not 21. So if we
know what he is,
right? Well, I believe we know what he is. People may disagree with that, but I'm saying if we're preaching patience, Drapes, and we have, remove Houston. Let's just say Zach LaVine and the Kings. How many years are you willing to be patient to say, okay, well, we got B, meaning Zach LaVine. We need to find an A, but we want to be relevant for the next 3 or 4 years. Now we're looking at Zach being a little longer in the tooth.
If I'm running the show, I'm always on the lookout. There is no,
for sure.
Let's wait 3 years. I'm always ready to pounce. If a guy or somebody that can improve, and this is why I said nobody's on this team is untouchable. If somebody, like you said, Whitey, is offering 4 first-rounders for Domas and 5 for DeMar or something like you got to do that. But I don't get the sense of urgency like a lot of people do that we have to be a champion right now. What about, all right, we add a point guard, we add a power forward, we add Bobby Portis, we add Schroeder, and we win 46 games next season. That's a step in the right direction. You're not a champion yet, but you're building something is I guess what I'm saying.
I have 2 arguments to that we'll break.
Yeah, we'll be right back with that, with Jay's arguments to that. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, Stacktown Sports.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Typically, a high handicapper carries an index of 20 or more. Golf Monthly's Barry Plummer offers 4 tips if you're tired of that high handicap. First, choose the right equipment. Invest in a 5-wood, which is more forgiving than a 3-wood or a 3 hybrid. It's a much better option for getting the ball in the air. Second, play for bogey on par 5s. Break the longer holes into manageable chunks, perhaps aiming to hit the green with 4 easy swings while also navigating away from the trouble along the way. 3, leave the sand wedge in the bag for chipping. Up and down percentages are almost twice as good when chipping a 9-iron over a sand wedge, and 3.5 times better with the putter. And finally, stop leaving your putts short. A 20 handicapper leaves 55% of their missed putts short of the hole. Give yourself a chance with every attempt and don't leave another putt short. Try these simple tips and let's see whether your handicap starts to come down. And have some fun out there. That'll help too. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
The ATH are struggling in Toronto, 6-2 Jays, Jay. Springs just got knocked out bottom of the 3rd inning.
So what else is new?
So the A's going to the bullpen early, and that's the whole thing. When the pitching is not very good and your starters can't go, and then the bullpen gets taxed, and that's one of the reasons they've struggled. We're having a conversation on the Kings and their future. And today, what we're really debating is how patient can you afford to be? It looks like the Kings may not be in position to make a lot of the moves that fans would want them to make this offseason. There may not be the market for players like DeMar DeRozan that would make it worthwhile for the Kings to move them. So then are we talking about running it back next year? And I believe, Drapes, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You're more open to that than we have been.
Open to what? Excuse me.
Running it back with basically your same core next year.
Same core, but you add a point guard. Maybe you add a veteran big man at the 4 spot.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm open to that for this upcoming season.
And Jay, I know you had a couple points you want to make. Could you just shared with me a comment on the text line? If you could read that, I'd love to.
Yeah, somebody from the 209, Whitey and Jay said, "What's wrong with being a competitive, consistent playoff team for a good 5-year stretch? That's enough for most Kings fans."
Nothing.
Yeah, the problem.
100%.
Well, that is very close to being like the Pacers were before they traded Domas, where it depends. If you're getting better and you're working towards something, great. But if you're just stuck in the middle and you get knocked out in the first round, that's a problem. So,
but see that I think
there's some wiggle room there.
That's the thing, Whitey. I think we've had this conversation for the last couple of weeks in so many different ways, and that was one of my points. Is for most Kings fans, that's okay. For me, hell no. I want to win a championship, and that's the difference. And so it just depends on who you're asking, because the Kings haven't been that relevant for so long.
But let me push back, Jay, and go to Whitey's example by saying the Pacers were a team that, for 5 years competitive, but when they strategically struck and found their guy, and now they're on the precipice of making it to the NBA Finals. Why can't we do that? Why can't we, be solid, 45 wins for 3 or 4 years, and then take advantage when a young guy, potential guy comes up, we strike.
The two reasons why, and this was the point that I want to ask you, both of you guys, is this. The Pacers have been more relevant than the Kings have throughout the history of Sacramento in 40 years. The Pacers have given fans a lot more to hang on over that period of time.
They've been to the finals.
Right, exactly. Not to mention Jermaine O'Neal years, they've had a lot of more success than the Sacramento Kings. So you're asking fans who we consistently we see them all the time. Drapes, how long you want me to continue to wait? I've been a fan for 40 years. I ain't won nothing. Right.
But what are fans waiting for, Jay? Are they waiting for a championship, or are they waiting for sustained, consistent playoff stability? The texter said, that's all us Kings fans want, is to be relevant in the playoff mix year in and year out.
And then hopefully get lucky?
And then hopefully strike when the iron's hot.
Well, if you look at where they are, they won, 48?
Yep.
And then they had a great year, knocked out in the first round, although it was a great series. Then 46, you're out in the play-in. And then this year, 40, and you're out in the play-in. I mean, they've been competitive the last 3 years. And I know, in all fairness, you're talking about being a little better than that.
Right.
But fans are not happy right now. They're very unhappy.
Because the organization botched what they had. And I think we can all agree. Like, this team, this franchise should not be where it is right now. You have 48 wins. You had a young asset in De'Aaron Fox. You had an all-NBA guy in Domantas Sabonis. And so if you're going to trade Fox, at least get some young assets or, that you can build upon. But that's in the past. I'm talking going forward. Going forward, Kings fans, I would be happy, not satisfied, not okay, but I would be happy if next 2 or 3 years we're 6th seed, 5th seed in the playoffs.
That would be incredible.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think you get there with this team.
Right.
So I think you do. That's it. Okay. That's an opinion. That's strictly opinion.
That's for
nobody
the fans
can fact.
to determine. The second part behind that is now this. Is you kind of made my point, Draper, is you want the fans to be patient. You want the fans to think that's okay. But the number one fan hasn't exemplified that type of attitude and behavior.
And that's why we are where we are.
And I think that is why a lot of Kings fans have a problem in saying, I hear what you're saying, Draper, but the main person you probably are speaking to hasn't exemplified that type of patience. So why should I? And I think that starts to, move the conversation is, well, I'm good with being team. I'm good with making the playoffs, being a 5th, 6th seed, but the owner hasn't.
Well, and
majority
that goes to my point.
Operating owner, I should say.
People are so desperate for a championship team that they're willing to try and fast track it where there ain't no shortcuts, is what I'm saying. There ain't
Kings
no
fans are desperate for a championship team?
Yes, they are frustrated. They are tired of this. It's championship or bust now for the. I just
don't
said
agree with that.
Most fans
relevancy.
All right,
I think what you're arguing
most fans
is
are
right,
okay
yeah.
with 45, 46 for 5 years.
Yeah, I think so right now.
You guys okay with that too?
It depends how you
Oh,
are you
yeah.
getting better.
Speaking for me,
You have to
just
get
depends on what the goal is.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say,
towards a championship.
I will say, if we go from where we are right now to 45, 46, 47 wins, 6 seed, 5 seed, in back-to-back years, we have gotten better.
Good luck getting a 5 seed with 45 wins.
Agreed.
Well, a few years ago, you were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Beam team year, 45 would have got you that. Every year is different, Whitey.
The West is just, we know how tough it is. It's very competitive.
So relevancy is.
If relevancy is a road to actually getting better.
Right, that's what I'm talking to. You guys, it sounds like a lot of fans, and you guys want to skip the relevancy part.
Well, not me. Not me. I'm speaking. Jay right now is speaking for Kings fans that people ask me every single damn day.
What are they saying?
Which is patience has already been given. We've given you the road. We've given you the yellow brick road. We've been patient. We've given you a long leash. How many times do we see every single day? Like, we're tired. We're tired of being quote unquote non-relevant. We're okay with being relevant, but we want something that is long lasting, something that we can put our hands on, something that we can believe in, which is what you're saying. But that's the argument of it is how are you to get to that when the main person isn't doing that? And that's what Kings fans continue to keep crying about.
I say, and I hear you, Jay. And when you say the main person, you're talking about the owner.
Yes.
But what about Scott Perry? What about Doug Christie?
Unfortunately,
are
we
they
don't have
under the
those
gun?
answers.
Are they under the gun now to turn this thing around tomorrow? Or do we give, like I said, if I'm Scott Perry, I walk in here, I need a 4 to 5 year deal because it's going to take some time to get to where we all want to go, is build a champion. And Scott said it. He wants sustained, solid, very good play. He don't want a Atlanta Hawks, you sniff the Eastern Conference once and then and so it's going to take some years, I think, because you don't just find your guy in one off season. You don't just find your guy at one trade deadline. It's not that easy to find a guy out there.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And I don't know, I think for most Kings fans, they're not opposed to Scott Perry and Coach Christie and the staff over there having 3, 4, 5 years because we haven't been able to see that. I think you're arguing what Kings fans want, but I also believe you're the opposite of what Kings fans really value is seeing that. It hasn't been done.
I think what Kings fans really want, based on what we've been hearing and our observations, they want assurances. They'll probably never get them, but they want basketball people running the basketball ops. That's the number one thing they want.
Mm-hmm.
Owners get involved at all levels, but that's what they want. And then they want a team they can get excited about and enthusiastic about. And I don't think it necessarily is about having a championship team right away, but it's about having a team that you can see getting better and growing. That was what was so exciting about the Beam team. You saw this team all of a sudden coming into prominence, and it looked like, as we all know, this is going to be a team that's going to be around a while. It wasn't. We agree. Well, they mismanaged it. That's what fans want. They want a team that's getting better, that they can feel good about and excited about. And I think they need a young player that they can get excited about. I'm not saying you need to get that guy now. It's impossible. But that's what I think fans are really aching for.
Which is what you're arguing, Drapes, right? Isn't that what you're saying? You want this team to be relevant for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. And then whenever you see something that you believe you can spin on, pounce, be ready.
Right.
Like Sugar Free say, stay ready. You ain't got to get ready.
You ain't got to get. And one of the things when I first came here, the knock on the Kings was we didn't have any stability. I'm saying, can we at least get some damn stability before we start with talking about a championship? Like, if Mike Brown would have stayed, throughout the season, then you got some stability, front office and ownership and coaching. But We haven't had stability. I just want 3 to 4 normal seasons instead of all this. And so that's the thing I heard from Kings fans when I got here. So many GMs, so many coaches. Now the goalpost has shifted from we want some stability, we want to be playoff caliber teams to it's time for a damn championship. Compio in the YouTube chat. It's time to start winning a championship in the next few years or it's a bust. What are we talking about?
Yeah, one of the things we're talking about with what you just said is, again, is about fans wanting the basketball people to run the basketball operations, which is why there hasn't been the stability. And when it looked like they had the stability, it collapsed. And that's why fans are so upset right now.
Yeah.
Finally, we've got the stability. Got the coach of the year. The team's winning. Got the GM of the year. Where did that all go? So that's why fans are so upset right now. They feel like that rug was pulled out from under them.
And they have the right to do that. Like, you were building something, it felt like. And then it collapsed. And so quickly, I get the frustration. That should have never happened. It's almost like the Pac-12 conference. Like, it's criminal what happened to our organization here over the last 2 years. There are a number of things that they botched that was botched, whether it's De'Aaron Fox, whether it's Mike Brown, whether it's Sasha Vezenkov, Duarte, a lot of errors. And I get the frustration from the fan base. I just want some normalcy here. I would take 48 wins over the next 3 to 5 years. I don't have to be OKC tomorrow and 68 wins. Can I just be relevant? You got to crawl before you can walk. And you can't fast track this. That's what I'm saying.
No shortcuts.
No shortcuts.
Yeah. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. This Friday conversation continues, and we come right back. Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, UC Davis, and Sac State with the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit sacktownsports.com to join.
Whitey here for Napoleon Grills, reminding you that when buying a new grill, every detail matters. While supplies last, you'll receive a $149 gift with purchase on every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill. The kit even includes a pizza lover starter kit and much more. And now up to $79 off Napoleon Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last with a lifetime warranty and premium steel that boasts amazing quality. Visit Green Acres Nursery today for your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Memorial Day savings explode at Maida's Elk Grove Chevy. Save $12,500 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 Silverado Turbo Max in stock. And Maida Chevy has similar savings on every new Silverado. One of the largest selections of new Silverado in the Sacramento area. $12,500 off new Silverado. Exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Plus 2021 not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys. And I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
This summer, make every pitch count with the Sacramento River Cats Cats Pass. For just $59, enjoy 18 River Cats home games with access to the Sky River Casino Solon Club, featuring some of the finest ballpark and skyline views. Soak in summer nights at Sutter Health Park, all at unbeatable value. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just love a night at the ballpark, the Cats Pass is your ticket to summer. Join the Sacramento River Cats all season long. Secure your Cats Pass today at rivercats.com.
Ready for your summer barbecues? We've got you covered. 20 ribeyes for $40 is back in town. Yes, 20 ribeyes for just $40 is back. Happening now this weekend in Folsom at 2 locations. Napa Auto Parts, 9499 Greenback Lane, and American Furniture Galleries, 2785 East Bidwell Street. Enjoy crazy half-price bulk deals on steak, chicken, pork chops, and seafood. Stock up now on prices you haven't seen since 2019. Bulk family party packs to fill your freezer, plus 20 ribeyes for $40 until sold out. 20 ribeyes for $40. Huge truckload meat sale is going fast. Huge bulk deals on New York strips, filet, mega ribeyes, gourmet smash burgers, plus chicken and seafood. 20 ribeye steaks for just $40 and fill your freezer bulk deals while supplies last. All payments accepted. Cash, credit, debit, and EBT. Hurry out. This huge truckload meat sale won't last long. Happening right now this weekend only at Napa Auto Parts on Greenback Lane and American Furniture Galleries on East Bidwell Street in Folsom. On Facebook and Instagram at Essential Foods Direct.
Take him out, bring him out, dead. Shot him up, shot a ball, hey. 1 gun, 2 gun, 3 gun, 4. Your mind is all about crime.
Your afternoon home for Kings Talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
I'm rooting for the Pacers, and I like Haliburton. I picked them to win and all that, but I'm starting to get, as a basketball fan, kind of excited about the notion of the Knicks coming back. And I know I'd be sick of all the things ESPN would say about them, but it's the freaking Knicks. If the Knicks end up in the NBA Finals, that'd be kind of cool, just from a basketball fan standpoint. I'm not a Knicks fan, but it's the Knicks.
I need them to get done on Sunday.
Yeah?
I need them to be done. Tired of Stephen A. I'm tired of Spike Lee. Tired of Brunson.
What about Timothy Chalamet?
Hanging out there with Kendall Jenner or whatever.
Kylie Jenner?
Kylie or Ken. I don't know which one. No, I'm tired of them. I'm tired of it. Tired of the Knicks. I need my boy Tyrese to get it done.
But you're an employee of the NBA. It's good for the mothership, for the parent company.
Nah, man, I'm a Tyrese Haliburton fan. I'm a Nembhard, a Pascal Siakam guy, Obi Toppin. Those are Miles Turner, who I wanted here on Sacramento. Those are my guys.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the Pacers as well. I see the upside for the league if the Knicks were to find their way in there. The Pacers are still in great shape, though.
See, when you're from Philly and you worked in Boston, New York is like, I can't do it.
I understand that.
New Yorkers are obnoxious. So I can't. I don't.
They made your list of least favorite fans.
Yes,
didn't they?
Exactly. They were on the D list. They were them and Brunson with the flopping and everything. Yeah, I can't.
But you love Brunson's dad.
No, that's my guy. Rick Brunson is my guy. But man, and his son is a hell of a player. But he's flopping around there like Flipper.
What about this whole debate, which is premature, but that's what we do? Oh, if it's Thunder Pacers, that'll be boring and nobody's gonna watch. I got my own thoughts on that, Dre. So what do you think of that narrative?
Well, first of all, I don't care about TV ratings when it comes to sports. It is what it is. I'm going to watch, and I actually think the styles could produce some pretty good basketball.
Would be great.
Right?
Yes.
Both teams get after it. Both teams are intense. The Pacers with their full court pressure. I think it's a great basketball matchup.
I do too. And the players on both teams, even though they're smaller markets, they have Q ratings that are very high.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Very high profile players. And I think fans are going to get excited about the players playing rather than what cities their games are in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And let me ask you this, and I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if it's true or not. In terms of SGA, Tyrese, or Brunson, and exclude the New Yorkness out of it because Brunson gets a huge boost from New York. In terms of the individual styles and do they move the needle in the NBA, how would you rank them?
Yeah, it's SGA and it's Haliburton.
Right, right.
You know why? Because they pass the ball.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And they do everything
they
else,
don't
too.
just pound it. And so from an aesthetically pleasing side of things, Pacers Thunder is going to be a hell of a series if it happens.
Did you hear what Bill Simmons said about this matchup?
Bill Simmons.
This is going to go back a ways, Jay, and you're not going to like this because it's going to reference the Kings and the Lakers. Bill Simmons said this on, on the Ringer, whatever he was on, and he's hugely successful. Don't mean to be disrespectful. He said, you go back to 2002, you had the small market Kings. and they were on the verge of making the finals against the Nets. And he said, Commissioner Stern decided we can't have that. And then game 6 happened. He said, see what happened? The problem with that theory is every Kings fans know, and forgive me for dredging it up, in game 7, it was back at Arco. Kings could have, if they made free throws, they win that game.
They should have won that game.
Yeah. So, game 6 was a little hinky. Maybe the league thought,
maybe
let's
they
get another
extended.
game.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not like the referees, game 7, the Kings, you asked them, they could have and should have won.
Yeah.
Like, come on now.
What?
Are you saying that on a Friday on the drive, guy?
Well, it's true.
Oh, come
we
on.
all know
White.
that.
This is how you sending us home?
You asked Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby even talked about it on his podcast. They should have won game 7.
Yeah.
Like game 6 happened.
Disgraceful.
It was
disgraceful.
Right. But game 7 back at home, like you said, make the free throws. They win that game.
14 free throws and an overtime loss. Damn. Yeah. So all I'm saying is this narrative that, the league, they made sure the Kings didn't win. I don't know what happened in game 6, but the Kings could have won. So he's saying, hey, watch out. The Pacers are in trouble in game 6 because the league's going to step in and make sure that the Knicks win.
We got to see if Scott Foster is officiating, right? The extender. Yeah, if Scott Foster's officiating, watch out. But the pressure squarely shifts back on Indiana, man. I feel like it's a must-win for them. Can they go to New York and win a game 7? Yes, but can you imagine a game 7 at Madison Square Garden? That's going to be electric.
And they can imagine that too.
Right,
It's a matter of how much they're thinking about that when they need to focus on winning the game.
Yes.
It's hard. And Rick Carlisle's talked about that. I think he said the clinching game is never not the hardest game. He should have just said it's always the hardest game, but he said the clinching game is never not the hardest game.
Never not the double negative.
Yeah.
So that means it is the hardest game.
Right. It's a better way to say that, Coach.
Yeah.
But he made his point.
Yep.
I'm with you. It's just a matter of, is Indiana going to be coming out focusing on that? What happens if we don't win this game? Or are they going to go out and take care of their business? Jay, do you think it's bad for the NBA if you have OKC and the Pacers? A lot of people are saying that. I disagree.
Yeah,
What say Jay?
No, for basketball guys like ourselves, that's a great series.
That's a great matchup.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not. I mean, I don't think we're all getting paid by ratings unless Drapes is. My bad.
Nah. Whitey thinks maybe I am, but no, not really. Not really.
I didn't know if play-by-play was getting paid based on the ratings, but I mean, I think that's the business people, the talking heads of the NBA. For hoopers, yeah, of course.
And I think it's also people looking for things to talk about. What
Yep.
Oh, that'll be terrible.
Yep.
Well, that's going to be awful.
It's like it's a lazy topic, right?
I think so.
It's one of those you're not doing your just do. It's
Right.
something simple. And
Low-hanging
I think
fruit.
you've talked about it. It's really like that. What'd you say earlier? ESPNification?
ESPNification. You're right. Of the NBA.
That's what it is.
Jalen Brunson has dragged an average team into the finals.
How about this from the 831? Realistically speaking, fans need to understand that a championship contending team will take 3 to 5 years unless we strike a little luck. That's from Trey on the text line.
Right.
He's right. 100%.
830. Kings need to add a lot better players to this core to be relevant. Is that possible?
Probably not right away, but I wouldn't disagree with it.
I disagree with it. I think that's debatable. I think, when I look at the West and I understand how tough it is, the Kings won 40 games in a tough West with the most dysfunction of any team this season. They could at least get 5 more wins, right? 6 more wins. That's in the mix. That's in the mix. Play-in playoffs. Why can't you, get an 8 seed or a 7 seed and win and go into the playoffs? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, can I ask you guys this?
Yeah, what you got?
Right now, super early. We haven't even conducted an offseason. No rookies. No, nothing. Nothing's been done. Figuratively speaking, let's say they pretty much run it back, work around the edges. As of right now, May 30th, what would be your goal for the Kings next year?
Goal or prediction?
Goal. Like
playoffs.
Okay.
Playoffs. However you get in, whether it's top 6, whether it's play-in, and then you get in, playoffs would be my goal.
Finalize 1 through 8.
Yep.
Okay.
When it's all said and done, you're 1 through 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this team, that's your goal. Get into the first round. Remember a couple of years ago, they got to win a first round series or the season's a failure. That would be just getting back into the playoffs, which is probably going to be the goal anyway, depending on what they end up doing. We may have to, readjust that. What do you think?
I would say playoffs. I would say 45 to 50 wins if they run it back. Work around the edges.
Okay.
Playoffs with a cap of 50 wins, which sounds crazy, but yeah.
50's a lot.
That's a whole hell of a lot.
But I think 45 is doable. I think 45. I mean, you're going to add a point guard, hopefully, ideally.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to do that, Scott Perry. And so I think that buys you a few extra wins. I think continuity, stability buys you a few extra wins.
You know what really speaks to how hard it is to do what you want to do is you look at the teams that have been eliminated. They've had really wonderful seasons, right? Minnesota right now, are they going, we had a great year? No, they're going, what do we got? We got to
I'm going to go get Kevin Durant already.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great year. Denver, are we going to tear it down? Oh, we don't want to tear it down. Denver had a wonderful season.
Right.
That's how hard it is.
It's hard.
Could
it be possible that Minnesota takes a step back?
Sure.
Conley's older. Gobert's older. Randall's a free agent. Naz Reid, as a player option. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's a free agent. Like Minnesota, and remember, they were only the 6th seed, theoretically could take a step back.
Sure.
Theoretically. And so
could Golden State.
So could Golden State,
Lakers
so could
too.
the Clippers. So could the Lakers, and so.
And I think we said exactly the same thing a year ago.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think we pretty much did.
Right.
Yeah.
But we were at least coming off a beam team run and
man,
things just didn't work out this year.
Right. I mean, it really sure looked like it's going to be true. And then Warriors acquired Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler at the deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that changed everything for them.
Are we up for a little?
Yeah. You saying there's a chance?
What? A chance of what?
That the Kings making the playoffs?
Sure.
Hey, there's always a chance.
Yeah.
Thank you for at least cheering me up. Whitey put me down in the dumps about the,
Bill Simmons did. I didn't.
6 and 7. Game 6 and 7.
Yeah. Bill Simmons did. I didn't. I just don't want you to hear about it on the street somewhere. I'd rather hear it from me. Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz for May 30th is coming up on Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for American Energy, and oh my goodness, I'm born and raised here. I know it gets hot, but my goodness, we're already seeing 100-degree days. Listen to me. You do not want your system to conk out in the middle of June or July or August with one of those big 100-degree stretches. You want to make sure you're good all summer long. And my friends at American Energy Heating and Air can do that with a $24.50 tune-up right now. That's half price. And if you need a new system, $3,500 off, up to $3,500 off in rebates for qualified systems. They've been around since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call them right now, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads, great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage, weird, but still a salad. One radish and a couple of green beans, also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke. Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This Memorial Day, grab the keys to a new ride during Toyota's Summer Starts Here sales event.
Right now, get a low-cost lease on the 2025 Prius. Sleek, efficient, and with impressive MPG, it's perfect for long weekend road trips or the daily hustle and bustle. Or shop great deals on 17 Toyota hybrid models from the longest-lasting brand on the road. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year complimentary scheduled maintenance plan. Toyota's Summer Start to Your Sales event ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Offers end 6/2/25.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Drive Guys powering your afternoons Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Isn't Nelly a big St. Louis Rams fan at one time?
Yeah, he's from St. Louis. That's his town. Yep.
Yeah.
Cardinal?
We haven't talked about it, Jay. Before we get to the quiz, 49ers just, is that a fleecing of the Eagles today or what with that trade they made?
Did they? What was that trade again? Let me go to my boy.
They got a crackerjack of a defensive end, an edge rusher.
My boy Jason Dumas. He's a noted sports reporter, very respected sports reporter.
He is.
Let me see what he said out there about this trade.
He said, "Kudos to the Niners."
He said, "Quote: I'm astonished the Eagles found a buyer for Bryce Huff. He had fallen so out of favor with the coaching staff. They had no plans to use him whatsoever. He's not viewed highly as a player in that building."
Well, you have that from our buddy Dumas. You have this from Sayre Bettinger.
Who's that?
Yeah. Highly respected.
Right, highly respected. 49ers just made a genius Moneyball type of trade to get Bryce Huff. So there you go.
You know the problem with this is, fellas, so many journalists. So many journalists these days don't even hide their fandom anymore. You do this guy's bio and go to his IG page. He probably in a Brock Purdy jersey during his Super Bowl last year. Come on, man.
And the Eagles are actually paying for part of the salary, right?
Yeah,
so they really couldn't wait to get rid of
$9
this
guy.
guy.
9.1 million, and the Niners will pay the $7, which is this dude was making $17 million. He must have been thought highly of before.
Who's the last guy that went from Philly
Hargrave, the grave digger?
How'd that work out for you? How'd that work out?
You're right.
Okay. All right. Just saying. Just saying.
Highly respected. That's all I know.
Your boy had one season of 10 sacks. And Jay, you brought this up earlier.
Yeah.
Every other season, 2, 3, 3.5, 2.5.
Yeah, but that was under Robert Saleh.
Right.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
He had one good season under Robert Saleh.
Is he the type of guy that knows he's probably on the outside looking in on the NFL? He needs to play for a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry Krueger said, and Larry Krueger is totally
highly
unbiased.
respected.
Highly respected, totally unbiased. He says Huff will be the best rusher to line up opposite Bosa on the other side that Bosa has ever lined up with.
If that pans out, the Niners
had on the other side with another.
That's a fleecing. That's, book them to the Super Bowl.
Somebody should be checking. How hot is it in San Francisco this week right now?
Boy.
The best defensive end across from
Bosa.
I believe he's ever.
Ever.
Speaking of ever, it's time for Whitey's Way Back Machine Quiz. Brought to you by Lee's Air Heating and Plumbing. We just got our, one of our first bills since it got warmer. It's like Lee's Air Heating and Plumbing.
It's okay.
Saving us money. Saving us money with our bills. Like, woo.
Can I call them up for some services?
Yes.
Some HVAC services? I got some things I need taken care of.
Yeah.
Code Gleason.
Yeah.
Right.
For May 30th, here's what we have. And I think Jay.
That'll be me.
Jay is the current.
Yeah, go ahead. I give it to Jay. I'll let him start.
I like how it's always just give it.
Because I don't remember you actually winning, but it's okay.
I won the last one.
He did. I believe he did.
Did he? Okay.
We missed two basketball questions.
Two basketball ones. Yeah.
This date, what year in MLB? 1927, 1976, 1992, 1996, and 2021. This date, what year in MLB? 27, 76, 92, 96, 2021, Jay. Where would you like to start?
Let's go 1992.
1992.
Robert Pack.
It's
That's a good one.
Multiple choice. By the way, if you guys ever get one of those, it's going to be like 10
I know,
points.
right? Yeah, just call it again.
Yeah. This date, 1992, Jay. Multiple choice. Scott Sanderson became the 9th pitcher to have beaten all 26 major league teams. There was only 26.
I remember the name, Scott Sanderson.
Which of these pitchers became the 24th to have beaten all 30 teams? Just last month. Last month, this guy became the 24th to have beaten all 30 teams. Justin Verlander, Charlie Morton, Jose Quintana.
Ooh, Quintana.
Just last month. And I'll be honest, I don't remember it happening myself.
It's got to be Verlander.
Verlander is not correct.
Oh, I was going to say that too, Jay. Oh,
yeah. He's been struggling with the orange and black, but how about it? Drapes, which of these pitchers became the 24th to have beaten all 30 teams last month?
Quintana.
Jose Quintana? Correct.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Come on, Jay. Come on. Of course he's serious.
There's a lot of guys that have done it now because guys are on
on so many teams.
So many teams. Draper with a steal. Drapes, you're up. This day, what year? MLB? 27, 76, 96, 2021.
96.
1996. It's multiple choice.
Okay.
This date, 1996, Albert Bell is suspended for 2 games after he, on this date, broke up a double play with a forearm to the face of what Sacramento area native?
Oh, come on. This right in Jay's wheelhouse.
But you have first crack at
right.
it. Was it Steve Sachs, Fernando Vina, or FP Santangelo? Albert Bell was suspended 2 games because on this date, 96, he went in, almost broke the nose of what Sacramento area native Steve Sachs, Fernando Vina, or FP Santangelo?
Steve Sachs.
Steve Sachs is not correct.
I thought I had that one.
How about it, Jay? 96, Albert Bell breaks up a double play with a forearm to the face of what Sacramento area native Fernando Vina, FP Santangelo?
Fernando Vina.
That is correct.
Nice
it was
one.
Fernando Vina.
Damn.
Yeah, we're all even at 1-1.
Couple steals out here. Okay.
Back to you, Jay. Did you ever play with Fernando Vina? You know Fernando Vina?
No. Yeah, a little bit before my time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good guy. As his FP. This date, what year in MLB? 1927, 1976, 2021.
This year MLB.
All right.
Ooh, okay.
So you get to hear it.
Yep.
This day, what year, and then decide who
His
goes
wheelhouse
first.
here.
This day, what year in MLB? Barry Bonds makes his debut for the Pirates. This day, what year? Barry Lamar Bonds, his major league debut.
1986.
He's got it.
Damn.
2-1.
An easy question.
That was a layup.
Come on.
That was a layup.
It's history, man. It was on this day.
All right.
KD, you're down 2-1, but you're up 1927, 1976, 2021.
2021.
All right, it's the closest two.
Yes, Jay can go first.
All right, Jay.
This just happened.
Elio Castroneves
Okay.
wins his 4th Indy 500. The race established a new record for the running of the Indy 500 with an average speed. So everybody, average speed.
Oh, my gosh. This is so hard.
Of what? 2021.
I have no idea,
record.
man.
Average
this
speed.
Is a tough one.
This is for the what? The Indy
500.
500?
And it was 2021 when they set this record. Not just
I have no
him,
idea, Jay.
but the average for the
Yeah,
race.
average.
Like
I got you. The
race.
fastest joint.
Yeah.
Dang. You would think all my years of working NASCAR.
Hey, where's G-Man with you?
You ain't lying. I'll go Michael
G-Man's
Wall
got it
trip.
right
Michael
now.
Wall trip.
He's saying it right now. He's screaming at
I
his
know.
radio. Yeah.
I'm going to say, man, because you got the turns, the corner. I'm going to say 185.
185.
Oh, that's a good guess.
What do you think, Kyle Draper?
Can you
Tie
read
the
the
game?
question?
This day, 2021, Elio Castroneves wins his 4th Indy 500. That race establishing a new record for the running of the Indy 500 with an average speed of what? Jay says 185 miles an hour.
Damn, that's a good guess. If I say 184, but that's not the record. 186.
190.
Oh!
Good guess, Jay.
Man.
That was tough.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's a good job by Jay.
tough.
And then
Yeah,
Drake's
I
top
was
of it.
like, hold up there.
We're all even 2-2 with 2 questions left, Jay. It is your turn, right, Jay?
It is Drapers, right?
No,
that was 2020. It's on me.
Yeah,
It's on me.
So you want 1927 or 1976? 2-2 game.
27.
1927. It's multiple choice here.
Okay.
Walter Johnson records career shutout number 110.
All right.
The most in Major League history. Who leads all active pitchers in shutouts with 15?
I was about to say with 12.
15?
I was going to say 12.
With 15.
Yeah.
Damn.
Justin Verlander, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer.
Clayton Kershaw.
He's got it.
Yes,
Damn,
sir.
Jay.
Go with the thumber, baby. The
Okay.
lefty. The lefty.
So it's 3-2. You need this one, Drapes, to force overtime. 1976.
What we got?
Basketball.
Oh, I got this.
What team took game 3 of the finals from the Celtics on this date in 1976?
Come on, man. Why you
can just
go ahead,
tell me.
Whitey. No, I want you there.
Milwaukee, Phoenix, Golden State.
Phoenix.
Phoenix Suns is right.
Damn.
That was a layup, too.
That was a layup.
That was a layup,
That was a layup.
Going to overtime. We need, I think
We got time or no?
We don't
Yeah,
have
we
time.
got
do
you.
we?
We got you. You good.
Yeah?
Yep,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Well, I need to decide.
Got about 40
Is it the
seconds.
closest to, or is it a multiple? Here, heads or tails, Jay? A call.
Tails.
Tails it is.
All right, here we go.
All right. 1971. It's multiple choice here,
Okay.
Jay. Willie Mays takes over the all-time National League lead in career runs scored in 1971.
Damn.
Let's see, currently ranked 7th all-time. Ricky Henderson is first. Who leads all current major leaguers in career runs scored? He ranks 117th all-time. He leads all current major leaguers in career runs scored. Is it Jose Altuve, Freddie Freeman, Andrew McCutchen? And it's
Andrew
possible-
McCutchen, baby.
Andrew McCutchen is not correct.
Oh, I thought I had it.
Altuve.
Altuve is not correct. Happy Friday.
Freddie Freeman?
Freddie Freeman.
Get out
I
of
wouldn't
here.
have guessed
I
that.
wouldn't have guessed that.
Freddie Freeman, the JR Sports Brief Show is next on Sacktown Sports. Have a great weekend.
The Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Right to your email. Get your